Hello, everybody. Dr. Ruth messaged me, and she's going to be a few minutes late. I'm drooling. All right. So we might as well pull some cards, right? I have noticed something about my face. You tell me if you guys notice it too. And I noticed it on this one dude who has antisocial personality disorder, NPD, and borderline personality disorder. And I was watching him, and his face was doing the same shit, dude. It's like half of my face almost seems like it droops a little, like I have a stroke or some shit. And his does that too. So I don't know what the fuck that means, man. It's like half of my brain isn't working properly. I don't need no brain scan shit. Anyways, Dr. Ruth will be here. She just needs to put down her child to sleep. Okay, so we'll do some cards while we're waiting. And I thought I'd look like a Mormon housewife today for Dr. Ruth. And then Mr. Chicken put on extensions. All right, I thought that would make her laugh. And one of my subscribers, Dee Dee, told me to put on extensions on Mr. Chicken. Okay, here we go. All right, what do we have for the week for my viewers? For my viewers, what do we have? No whammies, no whammies. Tension. All right, so we're stressed out, migraines, worry. Look, my light kind of went away. All right, anyway. Yeah, well, if you're going through a breakup with somebody or a divorce or in the middle of your crazy, you're going to be stressed out and you're going to worry. You're going to have migraines. Yeah. All right. Second card. All right, here we go. Everybody get your questions ready for Dr. Ruth about attachment styles, how they differ with personality disorder. I'm going to fucking be asking questions too. How they differ from personality disorders and why, what they look like if they're combined too. Paranoid. Cautious, insecure, and guarded. Well, this is your person. And if any of my cluster Bs, that's for you. All right. Also, you can take on traits, of course. You can take on traits, of course, if you're around your person way too long, you can become fucking paranoid. A lot of people with CPTSD who get into relationships with a cluster B personality disorder, they, you might think that you have borderline personality disorder just because we be making you crazy. Okay? All right. So don't jump to conclusions. All right. Last card. Two-faced, double life cheater, backstabber. All right. So, watch out for that. If your gut intuition is telling you that something is off, then you're right, because your brain likes to push everything aside and not look at the red flags ever. So, yeah. Come on, Dr. Ruth. What up, Alaya? Mr. Chicken standing in solidarity with the horses by wearing human hair extensions. I know. It's like he got it from the horses. This is horsetail. Is it authentic horsetail, Mr. Chicken? Another thing that I have watched, I haven't watched TV for like a month. I'm paying these streaming services for nothing, but I watched on Hulu Bill Burr's comedy stuff. You guys should watch that because he was talking about men's issues and men's sadness and depression and stuff. He makes jokes out of it and everything, but it was really good. And then he was talking shit about chicks who say namaste. That was so fucking funny. I was laughing so hard. And chicks with their hands are cold and their feet are cold. That's me too. He was talking garbage about that and how we have shitty offspring. So that was funny. Also, I have the condensed version of The Art of Seduction by Robert Greene. And I have read the whole book with all the historical figure stories and everything to put it in perspective. But I bought the condensed version too. And last night I read through it, and like I've said in the past that when I read the book, that I'm like, I do this automatically already, and this is fact. So if you get that book, just get the condensed version, read through it, and it talks about the way he writes it. He talks about like this person being malicious and doing this shit on purpose, or somebody with a cluster B personality disorder is already going to be doing this automatically with no teaching tools whatsoever. So look through that mother suck, and it talks about every different kind of way to get you attached to somebody in the beginning of a relationship. It also talks about how to keep somebody attached to you, which is trauma bonding. It was talking about trauma bonding in there. It also tells you how to fucking break up with your person to get them to not like you anymore. I thought that was fucked up. I'd just fucking leave. I don't know. But it talks about manipulative ways to make you feel like a goddamn, it's your fault or it was your choice. One of the things that he said was just smother your partner with love, care, and attention, and they'll fucking leave you. I'm like, what? What the fuck? But the whole book is about how to traumatize, your person. And then they switch it around. So now people reading this bullshit, or red pill fucking dudes reading this shit, they're going to be like, okay, so get them attached, which isn't love and nothing is healthy. And then be loving and everything to get them to discard you. I'm like, what the fuck? I mean, how was it that I didn't traumatize my husband of 25 years to keep him around? I was just avoidant. That's all. Where I did not need any emotional needs met. And men love that. But borderline women who trauma dump on you right from the get-go make you feel like you're the parent, and you turn into a caregiver, and it just switches on. Like, I want to protect this person. I want to, and then all the crazy town happens after that. But with a narcissistic person, I ain't, no, there ain't no, I'm so broken, but no fucking the way. No way. So if you ever dealt with, somebody who's like weeping and want you to take care of them, you know, in a childlike way in the beginning. That's borderline fucking flavor guy. Or vulnerable narcissism, if over time you see they start performing their narcissistic behaviors. But I get offended. People come and they're telling me all these borderline things and telling me they're narcissists. I'm like, get that fucking shit away from me. Get that vulnerable shit away from me. I get fucking pissed. Not shitting on, yes, I am shitting on fucking borderline. Sorry, it's transference anger from my mother. I don't give a fuck. Good afternoon. How are you doing? I'm sucking on a Red Bull. Oh, Dr. Ruth is here. Oh my God, I'm fucking ignoring her. Dr. Ruth, how long were you there? Jesus Christ. I can't hear you. Are you muted? What's going on? Are you muted? I have a thing that says to mute you, but you're not muted on my side. Yeah, it is weird. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Fuck. All right. That was loud.
It had put me on my phone microphone.
All right, cool. Yay! Dr. Ruth! Dr. Ruth!
How are you?
I had Mr. Chicken dress up for you with hair extensions.
I love it. I love it.
Okay, so for anybody, I've been watching other channels and stuff, and I never do this because I don't think about it, but tell us who you are, Dr. Ruth. Give me your credentials, sister.
My credentials?
Well, tell me how long you've been doing this.
How long I've been doing? I've been a psychologist for 15 years.
Okay.
And doing this very specifically, the more relationships work, probably about 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did a lot more before that too, but much more general mental health stuff with a lot of relationship stuff thrown in. But the last 4 years, I've purely done relationships work almost entirely.
Do you like the relationship stuff? Yeah.
I do.
Do you find that it's more helpful, or that you get people to heal themselves and stuff, or is it more rewarding? I mean, it's like
just different.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just different.
Okay. Well, then let's jump into it. All right. Are you okay from putting your
Okay. The kids in bed. We're all good.
All right. So lately you did a video on narcissistic personality disorder versus dismissive avoidant specifically, right? Or was it? Okay.
It was dismissive avoidant for sure.
Yeah, that was a good video. I was like, ooh, the editor did really good on this one. I liked it. But for people who haven't watched it, or you're going to watch it after this, tell us, tell us some things that are different? Because since I have both, I want to know what's separate, And
they're different concepts. So everyone's got an attachment style. And I think of them much more of in a spectrum. So someone might be erring towards avoidant in one relationship and towards anxious in another. And people do move around. But there are some people for whom it's a very fixed and much more rigid pattern. And of course, narcissism, if you kind of got the pathological narcissism, I think it probably correlates with a more avoidant style of attachment too. Yeah. Most narcissists will they'll be more fearful avoidant, and there's more flipping. I think there are more extreme reactions than just the withdrawal, but it's driven a little bit more differently. I think you see with the sort of more narcissistic presentation, you're going to see much more in the way of self-esteem regulation. So it's withdrawal more as a form of control rather than escape, although it can be kind of both. So like withdrawing in the hope that then someone comes back to you to affirm to you how important you are to them.
Yes.
That would be much more narcissistic.
Yeah.
But of course, it can also be out of entitlement and a lack of empathy. Like, I'm fed up with your crying and moaning and groaning, and I just want to get away from you because this is frustrating to me.
I've done that too. Yes.
Yeah.
I've done both. So, okay. It really depends on the person or the situation or whatever. Yeah. Okay.
And that can stem more from a kind of entitlement rather than an overwhelm, where a more pure avoidant is more overwhelmed by their partner being upset or showing high levels of emotion.
Yeah, I've done both.
And it can be both. It's not straightforward.
Okay.
You know what I'd also say is these patterns, they're useful sometimes to understand, but they're not so diagnostic. You know, people do kind of show elements of multiple patterns. And what I wouldn't say, I think the YouTube algorithm doesn't like it because you're like, well, you know, if you're a narcissist, you're doomed. If you're an avoidant, then you can fix the relationship. Bullshit. You know, it's like, this doesn't work like that. You know, I'm always like, look at the person in front of you, not the diagnostic label you might give them. Is there scope in this relationship for you to get your needs met as well as their needs met? Is there some flexibility? Because people are not, you know, people are not one thing, right? So someone who's quite narcissistic, who's a bit more flexible and a bit more willing to look at themselves and look at the pattern, may actually be a better partner than someone who's rigidly avoidant and unwilling to look at it. Although we do know avoidant patterns do tend to change. Attachment styles change throughout life over periods of a few years. Something like about a third of people over a period of 4 years will change their attachment style.
Well, can they change it while they're in a relationship?
Yeah, often that's what changes it.
Like, okay. I mean, I'm just learning this stuff too, because I've shifted in different relationships, my attachment style, you know, a little bit, but not in the relationship. I have not. Like, with one partner, I will be a dismissive avoidant. And then with another partner, being around them and their energy and their fucking woo-woo shit, I will be, it'll make me more anxious or fearful avoidant, maybe. Is fearful avoidant and disorganized the same thing? Just
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it'll make me a little that, but, and then I guess, no, you're right. I guess I could flip during the end of the relationship because I'm so sick of their shit that I'll just go straight back to avoidant.
Yeah.
Dr. Ruth is right. Dr. Ruth is right, of course. Okay.
But you know, even at the more healthy end of the spectrum, I've seen it in my relationships where one partner, I became more avoidant because he was rather needy. Another partner was so avoidant, sent me into a complete anxious spin.
Okay.
So I've moved between them.
You
know, so it's possible to have a pattern in one relationship that changes in another relationship. And you can, if you're with a more secure partner, most people will become a bit more secure.
Okay. So tell me, the narcissist versus avoidance in the beginning of the relationship. So during the honeymoon love bomb stage,
are they gonna have a honeymoon stage?
Okay.
Right. But that's true in any relationship. I'm not that's true in a secure relationship. We all start out dressing up, looking our best, showing up a bit shiny. We all do that. There's nothing wrong with that. I think where you see the biggest difference, it'd be interesting in the comments, see if anyone has any thoughts about it. I think more narcissistic people are looking for self-esteem regulation. So the relationship quickly becomes everything. This is the relationship that's going to affirm me. It's going to fulfill my fantasy of ideal love. You're going to be the ideal partner to me. I'm going to be the ideal partner to you. We're going to be the ideal couple together. So there's a lot of idealization. Whereas an avoidant partner, there's some of that idealization, but they're much more concerned to maintain autonomy and independence.
Okay.
And you'll probably get a little bit of a message of don't lean too much on me.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I've seen that.
Yeah. I used to, when I was online dating, I used to be like, I can spot the avoidance because their profiles all say, I'm looking for a strong and independent woman with her own interests. I was like, could you say any more clearly? Don't have any emotional needs.
Oh my God. That's okay. Yep. You hear that, ladies? All right. Okay. So their honeymoon, but the narcissist will kind of enmesh with their partner at first. Okay. And then the avoidant
one thinks you're ideal because you're independent.
Right.
I had a date say that to me once. I think you would be a great partner to me because you have your own career and because you're a psychologist, you're going to be emotionally stable. And I was like, I know you have no idea, darling.
I've had what is it? I've seen women post that they want an emotionally intelligent man. What the fuck does that mean? Because I'm thinking that, what does that mean? Like, I don't want
that my previous partners. I think my previous partners were emotionally unavailable to me.
Yeah.
That's what that means.
Yeah. Or yeah. Okay. Because I'm thinking, is it like, don't have anger issues, don't be depressed, don't make me your therapist or your mommy, or take care of, be available to take care of my emotions.
Possibly.
Yeah, because I've seen a lot of videos on that too.
Yeah, if you were looking to screen out anxiously attached people, I'm looking for someone who's emotionally intelligent.
Okay.
Could well be a bit of a giveaway. I'm looking for someone who's going to meet all my emotional needs.
Okay. Got that, ladies? And my dudes?
We should review dating profiles.
Oh my God, yes, that would be awesome. Or even go undercover and shit, you know? I just do it not to meet up with them, but just to, talk to them and stuff and just weasel. I mean, shit, I do that anyways before I let anybody touch me. But anyway, so we got the, idealization, independence. So an avoidant can, okay, yeah, I heard that. Okay, so the second stage is getting into conflict, right? Okay,
Yep.
So it's honeymoon, then conflict. All right, tell me the differences between both for conflict.
Okay, so you'll know, a narcissistic person in conflict, you've offended my self-esteem.
Yep.
You devalued me. You've insulted me. You've made me feel bad about myself, and therefore I'm going to have to one up on you. Yeah. Sorry, I have hay fever, so I'm coughing.
Okay.
And then the more avoidant, you're getting too close to me and I want distance from you.
Okay.
So I think a narcissist is probably a bit more punishing.
Yes. Well,
an avoidant wants space and withdrawal, but that generates conflict because usually the partner's not happy about it.
Yes. Well, there's at least for me, it's when that trigger happens, it's I'm angry and they're wow, or fuck you, or not even just talking it out. Sometimes I've done this where you just dump your anger. I'll tear you down, belittle you, and then say something passive aggressive to guilt them and then take off. And it's not like, I'm reading a sheet and to do this. It's like my brain is already, programmed to do this shit. And then now later I'm like, oh shit, what did I do? It's like, fuck, I could have done this a different way. Or I could have, even after the angry moment, tried to dissect it afterwards, at least, because I can't go back in time and erase anything, right? But then I just feel, I don't know if it's embarrassed or just like, fuck it, I'm not going to go and try to fix anything because I look stupid, right? And
But
so,
this is shame.
huh?
This is shame.
Yeah. And then I would be like, fuck it, if they want me, they can come and reach out to me type thing. But that's only after I was able to, think about it. In the past, I was always right, always. My brain believed I was correct in this, and there's no self-reflection. So there's no going back and saying, oh, I made a boo-boo. I don't make boo-boos, Dr. Ruth. I don't make mistakes. It's always their fault, okay?
But that is such a really well described narcissistic pattern, because you have that self-esteem injury. Therefore, I've got to defend myself. You've got to be in the wrong. I'm in the right. You're in the wrong. I'm going to make sure you bloody well know it. And I'm going to be passive aggressive.
Yes.
I'm going to blow up at you. Then I'm going to disappear. And if I have enough self-awareness to reflect, well, that's just another blow to my self-esteem.
Yes.
So I need to get even more defensive. And you need to come to me to make me feel better about myself. And that's how we repair.
Yes. Yes. And the only thing that sucks about being aware of this is that now you feel that shame, you feel that that pride energy or narcissistic injury or whatever, and before I didn't feel any of that. So that's what, the downside of learning about all this shit. It's like, fuck, now I have to feel all these yucky feelings that I never felt before, Yeah,
but they also give you the opportunity to do something differently. You choose to take it.
I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. All right. Okay. So, too close distance. Okay. Hurting my self-esteem. You're punished. So okay. We talked. I don't think we talked about that. Can we just slip in what a good repair would be for both? Like you're talking to me. So self-awareness, okay? So I got a crumb of fucking self-awareness. I'm feeling my shitty feelings. So what would you suggest I do?
You would go to your partner and you would say, I said some things that were untrue and unfair and hurtful, and I'm sorry. That would be a good repair.
Okay. Now, let me just throw this in there though. When I'm really angry,
You know how to do it.
even in the moment when I'm tearing you down and everything, I mean those ugly things that I'm saying. So sometimes I feel like it's a lie if I come back and say I didn't mean to say those things. So
if I'm working with someone on this kind of issue, I'll often try to think about that angry outburst as a mode. That in that mode, your self-esteem was so threatened, you came out swinging, basically an angry protector, that you're coming out, and that's the side of you that comes out, and that side of you really does believe all of those things.
Right.
But maybe there is a healthier, more grown-up side of you that's able to take a step back and say, some of those things I thought and felt, although I really did think them and I really did feel them, are not entirely in line with reality.
Okay.
And then fair to the other person.
See, the people that are attracted to me now, besides borderline men, okay, the anxious and disorganized, right? But avoidant men. Avoidant men are attracted to me because I don't have to, I do not need them to be some emotional puppet, right, for me. And I'm not going to dig into their emotional whatever, right? I'm not going to make them open up, talk to me. I need this closeness. I don't need that type of shit. So I feel that if I'm with an avoidant man and I come to him apologizing for my asshole behavior, he's going to see that shit as a weakness because he wants me to be the strong, independent, no emotions. So I'm going to think that I am attacking or, fucking with his emotional walls, right? It's like I'm giving you my mushy center. And I'm thinking that an avoidant man might be like, oh shit, she wants me to reciprocate, right? What do you think?
Let me see if I understand. Do you have outbursts, the avoidant man?
If I had outbursts, oh, of course, I have outbursts, Dr. Ruth, yes.
With everyone?
Yeah. Only when I feel attacked, right? When my self-esteem is feeling attacked, which I call it disrespect, okay? So when they're being disrespectful, or I believe they're being disrespectful, even if it's, a resentment or something that I'm holding, something that they say, even if it's not even their fault, but it's like,
But you're feeling, on some level, you're feeling disrespected by them.
Yes.
And
And then I attack.
Injury, and then you go on the attack. And how do they respond?
And then if I come back and apologize for it, I'm going to think that my avoidant partner is going to think that because I'm actually showing feelings, that he's going to feel threatened in some way, that she may want me to reciprocate, or this feeling thing is just too enmeshing, type thing. Am I making excuses, Dr. Ruth?
Yes.
Okay. I'm just wondering because I'm paranoid.
I'm interested to see what other people think of this, but I'll give you my experience working with the kind of classic dismissive avoidant kind of presentation in men.
Okay.
My experience is they are very vulnerable to feeling criticized.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that's going to make them withdraw is feeling criticized.
Okay.
Like
narcissists.
Yeah. Yeah. Although they have less need for self-esteem regulation, they're more overwhelmed by it. They actually tend to be a little over-responsible, or if they feel over-responsible for the other person's emotions. So they can't actually just let the other person have their feelings without feeling, I've got to be responsible and look after this.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not so much of it's not so much cruel. It's more of I can't handle this, so I want it to go away because I'm responsible for it. I can't just let this person's feelings be.
Mm-hmm.
And it's when I'm in couples therapy with avoidant men, I'm just like, you're going to have to let your partner emote. And we're going to sit together and I'm going to teach you how to validate. And you don't have to change it. Actually, she's not asking you to change it. She's not asking you to be responsible for it. She just wants you to know she's really pissed off today.
Mm-hmm.
And it might be because the kids won't go to bed, or because the laundry didn't get done, or because the shopping didn't come, or, whatever it is. She's going to be pissed off. Let her have the feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Don't feel like you've got to rush in and fix it. Don't feel like you've got to tell her she's wrong to feel so upset, right? Because that's usually what comes out. Like, that really isn't something to get so worked up about. You need to calm down.
Would he feel not heard if he was in couples therapy with you with a narcissistic woman?
Quite possibly, because they're really vulnerable. Because what often happens is the partner, and this is kind of stereotypical, but if it's the man's the avoidant, the woman's the anxious one, the partner will often be quite critical. You never listen to me. You know, because when someone's upset about something, it then just gets exaggerated and exaggerated. You never listen to me. You don't give a shit about me. You don't care about me. You always come home late. You never do the laundry. You never help out with the kids. It's always me does this. These are my laundry list of resentments. Which to the more avoidant man is like, you failed, you failed, you failed, you failed, you failed. And then they get defensive. Yeah. And then they get defensive and they're like, you're saying how you still don't care. Now all you want to do is defend yourself. And you just escalate. Yeah. Okay. So actually, if you have a more anxious style and you're able to say to an avoidant partner, I think I overreacted, that is music to their ears. That's going to completely soothe that heightened sense of being criticized and blamed.
Yeah, once I apologized to my ex-husband and he almost fell on the floor. He almost fell on the floor because I don't apologize for shit, right?
It means all the more when you do it.
And so when I do, he's like, has a heart attack, like, oh my God, you know, of course I wasn't, you know, I didn't know that I had this. He doesn't know anything, you know, he's just thinking, you know, the man always has to take, you know, always has to apologize. And, you know, I mean, it's stereotypical too. Like I always say, when somebody asks me about the silent treatment, I go, yeah, ask every fucking wife. Ask every wife. Every wife gives their husband the silent treatment when he's acting a fool. You know, she's going to be pissed off. She's going to shut down. And I go, it's not, you know, it's not, that doesn't make her a narcissist or anything for being just like, I ain't fucking talking to you anymore. I'm done talking to you to death. You know, I'm just done. But, okay. So, let me see. Okay. So, okay. So we were talking about, the, conflict, how to repair. So how would a dismissive avoidant repair conflict?
If they repair at all.
Right.
It will be very tentative. It'll be kind of like, let me just tiptoe back out of my cave where I've been feeling a bit safe to check if the coast is clear and to see if you've calmed down.
Okay, so they wouldn't say anything. I mean,
they would rather not because they're wanting to avoid those kind of intense, emotional, intimate conversations. Because that's overwhelming. And look, this is also a stereotype. You know, different people will do this to different degrees and in different times, different circumstances. They may be more able to repair more effectively. A more effective repair would be like, I withdrew and I'm sorry. And of course, if the partner is wanting some acknowledgement, you know, the partner will often say, you just like, you have an argument, you disappear, and then you return like nothing's happened.
Yes.
And I'm supposed to just be okay with that. Which of course then it becomes a criticism, like, oh, the coast is not clear. I'm going to go back into my cave.
Okay, so that's stonewalling.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's a similarity, right? Or it doesn't, that's, even though it's similar to what narcissistic people do, but if a narcissist is a dismissive avoidant, that's their avoidance, right? Because that's not part of their personality disorder. Okay.
Remember, everyone has an attachment style. I tend to think of them more as less like categories and more continuum. So you can be more anxious, you can be more avoidant, you can have a bit of both, actually. That's the fearful avoidant. You can be more secure. You'll be secure to different degrees. No one is 100% secure 100% of the time. That would make you weird. Yeah. So it's like, what comes out in different relationships? And I think kind of what you want is flexibility.
Yes.
Yeah. You want to be able to be independent and be on your own. And you also want to be able to be intimate and connect.
Yes. Yes. I was talking
Darren McGee is here, by the way. And he was like, they look for ways to fix rather than resolve.
Yeah.
And I think that's true. It's like, I have to fix the problem.
Yeah.
And it's the practical solutions. It's like, well, we could do this and we could fix it like this, and we can change the chores and we can change the timing of things. And the partner's just like, I just want you to acknowledge my feelings.
Well, I was talking to one person who is married, and his wife was just putting so many things on the calendar for their children, and he's running a company, and he's, trying to do everything, but then they're fighting all the time because of this schedule and this craziness. And, I'm telling them, okay, well, why don't we talk to the wife instead of getting angry? Why don't we talk to the wife? And why don't we talk about, acknowledging her and saying what you need and how your relationship would be a lot better if it wasn't so stressful with this packed schedule, things like that. And, and yeah, their relationship got better. It's like, people don't know how to communicate their needs without sounding like they're attacking the other person. I mean, that was my go-to, right? It's just, it's because it's like a straight line. And I also don't like to be, it makes me really angry when people don't come to me, just say it. Just say what you want. Don't play this fucking passive aggressive game with me, trying to, or, making comments. So I guess how you're feeling and everything. It's like, and then that makes me angry too.
Don't guess how I'm feeling.
Yeah, that makes me angry too. And I'm like, just say it, say what, and then we're fighting because I'm like trying to drag out of them, what the fuck? Yeah. What is it? But okay, so we have we have conflict. We tried to talk on repair. And then, okay, now how about this? Now, narcissistic people and avoidants, they usually don't get to this part where it's the comfort zone of love, right? To where sometimes it's like either it's too calm, or they don't know how to receive. They don't know how to receive real, authentic love and care. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Where they're just like, it ends up being like either I'm paranoid that you're manipulating me in this way or whatever, or, like when you move in with each other or you get married or babies on the way, right? And then they're like, oh shit, I feel like I'm in jail right now. Now what am I going to do? I'm fucking stuck. I'm stuck, right? And then they don't know how to be healthy. Anyway, so when they get to that point of where love resides, where it's supposed to, the little village that they go to after learning, dealing with the conflict and fucking dismissing, not repairing. I mean, they usually don't get to that point, but when let's say the narcissist and the dismissive avoidant have an anxious partner, and so they're kind of walking on eggshells, right? So we're not getting angry or whatever. And then you're supposed to get to that point, that calm, right? So
you're not going to get there walking on eggshells.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah,
that's a recipe for resentment.
Yeah. So I don't even know what the fuck I'm asking. It's like, does the okay? How do they feel? And then they want to escape. Okay.
Yeah, if you are, I mean, anyone, whoever you may be, if you have a partner with whom you have to think carefully about every word you say, and you're tiptoeing around and you're walking on eggshells, it's a recipe for being exhausted and resentful. Yes. And feeling invisible. It doesn't matter who you are or what your personality is or your attachment style. That's not a recipe for anything good. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think what you're also referring to is a kind of mistrust. So where things are okay, there is a degree of which you're like, I'm waiting for something to go wrong. And then when a little conflict happens, see, I knew it. I knew it. And it's like massive overreaction. So it's like, I think where people have had really unhealthy relationships, one of the hardest things is to learn how to be in a healthy relationship, because they're constantly waiting for a problem, and minor little things that are just the ordinary stuff of being in a relationship with someone. You know, they leave their socks on the bathroom floor, or they're a bit disorganized, or they're a bit short-tempered because they've had a long day at work, whatever it may be, gets overblown. And the conclusion is it means something terrible about our relationship that we have even had an argument. So there's just a lot of anxiety in the relationship. And I often liken to people, I'll say, look, if you've had a really abusive relationship with someone where it's been really volatile, you've learned how to live in a war zone. Now you've got to learn to live in a peace zone. And veterans who've been at war, the biggest challenge they have isn't in coping with war, it's when they come home.
Yes.
And they have to adapt to civilian life. It's like, you've got to adapt to civilian relationships. You know, and I think that's a real challenge, because it is about learning how to tolerate ordinary conflict, communicate clearly, not be defensive, have trust that you can say what you really think and feel, and that your partner is going to respond in a way that's decent, even if they don't completely agree with you. Being able to take their view on board without panicking that you have to sacrifice yourself to do that. There's a lot to learn.
Yeah. And it's very difficult if one person is trying to work on that communication repair stuff and understand you, and the other person still is in their avoidant bullshit, right? And so and then the other person will become more anxious and be trying to be a better, partner and everything, because they feel like, now I'm not good enough, so I need to please this person more. And then they just feel all fucking grossed out by your smother factor. And then they kick you to the curb, or they say, I'm falling out of love with you. I mean, what the fuck is that shit? What's the falling out of love garbage? I don't say that. That's, what the fuck is that? Is
that in response to someone who's being overly placating, trying to keep you happy all the time?
Yeah.
Tiptoeing around on eggshells, and you know it?
When I have, it makes me angry when somebody walks on eggshells around me. It makes me angry.
Yeah.
And I don't have those types of partners, but if it was like a family member, or a friendship or something, just I don't like that tiptoe shit. I hate it. It's like, just say it. Just talk to me, you fucking weirdo, type thing. My sister had the best. She would come to me, not being passive aggressive. She would say, she would set me up for whatever she was going to say, and it wasn't walking on eggshells, because she was telling me, okay, I know you get angry when blah, 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 but I really need to talk to you about something. And I just want to discuss it without you ripping my fucking head off, or whatever, And then I was like, okay, I was like, okay. So it kind of opened me up to receive, knowing that it's going to be something maybe I'm not going to like. So I'm prepared. I think Chris Voss, who does terrorist negotiations, he fucking said, I'm the terrorist. She's a negotiator. And so, yeah, so that's what she would do. And then I'd be like, okay, because I had more, I'm like, okay, she's worried I'm gonna, rip her head off, and she's letting me know, please don't do it. And so I'm like, okay, I won't rip your head off. I know that you're setting me up to let me know that I might be triggered. And then it kind of calms my trigger down, you know?
Yeah, because there's an acknowledgement there. And I think there's also, what I'd also encourage someone in that position to do is set up your intention. You know, what I'm about to say may make you want to rip my head off, but the reason I'm saying it is because I care about our relationship.
Yeah.
And that instantly, okay, you know what's coming. You're bracing yourself a little bit, but you're also, I'm not going to rip your head off. I'm going to handle this in a mature way.
Mm-hmm.
There's a kind of invitation to do that.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
I like
that. It works. When I've done couples therapy, it works when both parties are really up for it. So particularly when the more narcissistic party is willing to hear that. Even if their willingness to hear it is like, yes, I want to rip your head off. I'm going to discuss it in our next couples therapy session. Let's postpone it till then. If that's where we're at, that's where we're at. I'm cool with that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but the other party actually does need to have that kind of confidence and strength to be quite sturdy, rather than, oh, let me please you, let me please you, let me soothe you, let me make it okay. Because if you do that, you either the narcissistic person feels really patronized, and that is enraging, or you've made yourself so invisible that you're just going to end up really lost in the relationship. You're going to lose your sense of yourself completely, and or potentially feel really resentful, or both.
How about now there's channels on breaking up with your dismissive avoidant, breaking up with your dismissive avoidant. So how are the breakups and the no contact? Okay, so when they go through no contact and they're broken up, right? And not the narcissist saying, let's just still be friends, or keeping that little tie, but there was an actual breakup, an actual discard, an actual whatever. How are those different from,
well,
I mean,
well,
I know,
so
but
a more dismissive avoidant, the breakup may actually trigger their attachment needs.
okay.
So they may, the point at which they feel like they're losing a relationship is the point at which they'll try to get more desperate to fix it. And that's when you may get repair attempts. Let me try and fix things. Let me try to resolve things. And that's standard dating advice, you know, how to get him obsessed with you, pull away so he chases. I'll be honest, I tell people, don't do that. If you have to pull away to get someone to be interested in you, do you want to spend the rest of your relationship pulling away and playing that game? I'm like, no. Communicate your feelings. Communicate them clearly. And if he responds, great. And if he pulls away at that point, goodbye. That was Dr. Ruth's rule when I was dating, you know. Perfectly nice dates. They didn't respond to me. If I sent them a message and they didn't respond for a couple of days, didn't matter what they said in the next message.
Yep.
They were done.
I know. I feel like I'm being manipulated. Fuck you.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm not waiting for you. You want to take several days to reply? Okay. I don't want to be in a relationship with someone who I have to wait around for.
Yeah. Or somebody who wants you to chase. They're trying to fuck with your abandonment issues and stuff.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, do you want me to buy you a dress? You're supposed to be the hunter.
No.
You're supposed to be, courting me, bro. You want me to be the man? I'm always the man in the fucking relationship. That's how I feel. It's like I have to have a very aggressive ego, big ego man to get me to calm the fuck down a little bit, Otherwise, I feel like I'm the dude because I want to, and that's because of who I am too. And I want to control everything, right? And stuff. So I kind of don't let my man be the man, I have to be very conscious of that and be like, but some of the guys that I like to date, they like me leading, especially if they have, I don't know, borderline flavor, I guess. I don't know.
Well, that's reassuring because if you lead, then they know you're interested.
Okay.
So then maybe, if they've got abandonment issues, someone else leading is reassuring. Because it might feel like you're more invested than they are.
Okay.
But it's also, I don't want to be vulnerable and let you know I'm interested in you. So I'll
Yes.
wait for you to tell me you're interested in me, because then I don't have to wait for my abandonment fears to be triggered.
If I had one wish, it would be mind reading Dr. Ruth. All right. All right. What were we fucking talking about? I'm having a brain fart. Okay. Wait.
Well, lots of comments, by the way.
Attachment needs. Trigger attachment needs if you break up with a dismissive avoidant, and they're going to want you.
Then that's when they're going to chase you back.
Okay.
But also the narcissistic person might chase you back, because at that point it's like a self-esteem blow. So I want to win you over.
Yes.
Or I'm going to sit and wait for you to come to me, because I'm not going to humiliate myself by admitting I miss you.
I've done both.
Yeah.
I've done both. Only 2 relationships did I apologize, and I did some reading and work on myself during that breakup time. And it was 2 months, right? And I'm just like, first there's a relief. I'm happy with the breakup because I'm so fucking sick of this shit, right? And then there comes a period where I'm just like, sad and missing the person, compartmentalizing the bad shit and just having an unhealthy attachment or whatever to this person. And then it's like, well, I better figure out what the fuck is wrong with me. So I've always been like that. It's like, what's wrong with me, right? And then my mother, she gave me a book on codependency. And I read that and I was like, oh shit, I was looking all codependent on this motherfucker, right? And then, and so I read the things, and then I quit doing that codependent stuff and had boundaries and stuff. And then my partner, after I apologized and I started doing my new skills and not giving a shit, and just, if he's going to be a shit, I have boundaries. I'm done with you. I'm not going to enable your fucking bad behavior. I don't give a shit. I don't need you. Go away, then. Mm-hmm. And then it made him, want to be with me. So anyway, and then the second time I did it, I don't think my person wanted to, he didn't want to work on it. He didn't want to receive, grow or whatever, and communicate and stuff. So that's why I think that he had avoidant stuff going on as well. Because I was like, hey, let's be healthy. Let's, do the healthy thing and, repair things right and do that. And he's like, too many feelings, too much emotion, no, whatever. And then I kicked my ass, because it's like, fuck, if I was just the regular narcissistic bitch from hell, this person would be attached to me. If I wasn't trying to be a better person and I was just chaos when you don't act right, we would be in this cycle for fucking ever, because yeah. And so I was like hating myself for trying to be a healthy person. I was
when you are in that kind of more healthy space, sometimes the writing is on the wall for an unhealthy relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Because the unhealthy relationship is dependent on those patterns.
Yes.
And I've seen that so many times when I've worked with one person on their side of things, the relationship ends.
Yeah. Okay.
Because it depends on the dysfunction. At the point at which you say, I'm not going to chase you,
mm-hmm.
It's game over, especially if you've got a more narcissistic type, because they're like, I want my ego boost.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is, to me, it's, it takes a lot for me to swallow, my pride or whatever, to reach out to somebody. It's not it's so uncomfortable. I feel like, you know, just exposing myself, right? And yeah, it fucking sucked. It sucked. So, and then being shut down, you know, it's like, here, I'm cutting out my heart. Here, isn't this what you wanted? And they're like, no, no. I want you to be, I want you to have never fucking want to be with me. I want you to always
chase you.
Yeah, I want you to always be busy and never fucking want to spend time with me. That's what I want. I want to be I want to have fear of losing you 24 the fuck 7.
That's mistaking the fear of losing someone for love and connection.
Yeah.
It's classic anxious attachment.
Yeah.
That because you're not here, I think I miss you and I want you and I deeply desire you. When actually all I really feel is anxious that you're not here.
Well,
and then when you are here and you are available to me, I'm not that interested. I don't feel the butterflies. I don't have the chemistry.
That's when you traumatize them and start belittling them, bringing up their childhood trauma, treating them like shit, cheating on them, going out with other people, and then they'll love you. And then they'll love you. I mean, it's not love, it's trauma, but you know, it's like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to tear you apart, you know? It's like, now I fucking actually care about you. So I don't want to treat you like shit.
I'm completely convinced, and I say this to people if I work with them when they're single, the success of your next relationship is going to be like, there's no date on this, but I'm like, it's like 90% due to partner selection.
Yeah.
Pick the right partner.
Yeah. Yeah. I was dating somebody, he told me that he was avoidant, you know, like in past, I was, you know, he says, yeah, I think me and my ex-wife are avoidant or whatever. And I mean, there was just so much, his relationships are only 8 months long.
Okay.
Yeah. And so red flag. Okay. And then he wanted to get married and he wanted an empathetic woman. And I'm just like, well, we're here for a short time, not a long time. You know, I'm just like, I am not fucking I'm not dealing with this. I'm not begging for anything from this motherfucker. It's like, okay, I'm just waiting for the first red flag so I can take off, right? So just be disrespectful or fuck with my self-esteem, and then I'm out of here, you know? So that happened, and I was like, oh, phew, okay, goodbye. I'm out of here. I'm out of here. It was, I can't remember the feeling I was feeling back then, but it was probably anticipation, maybe. Like, you know, I'm waiting for it to happen, you know, type thing. I think a lot of us go through that, us cluster Bs, you know, maybe.
Yeah, you're anticipating what you expect.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes then you make it happen.
Yes. So we're either, okay, the narcissist is wanting you to chase them or they chase you. And then the avoidant will eventually come back, is what you're saying. Yes?
Not always, right? Because it kind of depends. You know, also sometimes people are just done with the relationship.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes they're not that interested to pursue it.
Right.
You know, sometimes they've decided they want to move on to something else. You know, so it's not like nothing's written in stone. But yes, in general, the point at which a more avoidant person feels your absence is the point at which they're going to feel more interested in you.
Mm-hmm. And nobody's doing any work on themselves. It's going to be the same shit, different day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and what's funny, not funny, but usually when they're apart, when the one who's not the avoidant or narcissist, okay, our partner is, they're going through the sadness and everything, and they're either working on themselves and stuff during that time. And then, we're just trying to cope or doing negative coping mechanisms or trying to move on, rebound into other relationships and stuff, even if it's just for short time and everything. I've talked to so many people who do that, and they hate it. They hate it. They hate having to go out and like they're being like they got a gun to their head. It's like, I hate it. I hate going out and fucking other people. I just want my my ex. Anyway, so okay, so I don't even want to say like, how do you repair after a breakup? Because I just think it's bullshit, right? Because if they're not doing any work trying to come back to your person, why? Just so you can have that moment of anxiety is gone, It's like,
Is it so I'd ask questions like what's going on there? Especially if, I'd say someone who's like recently broken up and they're kind of going off, getting into kind of short one-night stands. The kind of thing I mean. It's not someone who's looking for another partner.
Right.
It's kind of maybe it's using sex and sexual contact as a kind of reassurance. I'm okay and I can get comfort and or it's the use of that as a form of let me make you jealous. Let me make you think that you're losing me because that will trigger you.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing about this that is about you seeking a healthy, good relationship with someone new.
Right.
And so I said, you're not kidding anyone here,
Mm-hmm.
other than yourself, maybe. So I think it is. I think, people can break up and get back together, but to do it well, they both need to look at, well, what actually happened in our relationship that caused us to get to this point?
Mm-hmm.
What were both of our roles in that? And each person needs to think, what can I do differently?
Mm-hmm.
Not what can you do differently? What can I do differently?
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you would repair. But what I would say is if it's an on again, off again, on again, off again, on again, off again, you got to ask yourself, how do you change that cycle of on again, off again?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's not good for anyone. That's a roller coaster ride to be on.
I know. One thing that you told me a long time ago was have a pact not to break up for 3 months or something. Do you remember you telling me that? And I know that's like almost impossible. It's almost impossible. It's almost impossible. If if you have no awareness. So if like you were having, couples, whatever, and they have no awareness of all their inner garbage, and then you're like, okay, you can't break up, you can't run away, you can't, whatever. What would be your instead of running away and breaking up, what would your advice be?
I say, look, first of all, you can break up at any point, right? But what you want to avoid is a reactive breakup.
Yeah.
So it's the use of breaking up because you've had a recent one argument, right? And it's the end of the argument. It's like, fuck off, we're done. This relationship is over. That's, that's not actually a good breakup. If you go to your partner and you say, this relationship is really not working for me and I want to end it and I've thought about it and this is what I want to do and let's plan how we're going to end this as kindly as possible for both of us. I'm okay with that kind of breakup. But that kind of repeated every time we have a fight, we break up and then we make up the next day. Well, it's not a breakup, it's a fight. But it's a fight that's triggering all of your attachment systems. All of you are going to go to your worst possible defenses.
Yes. Well, yes. I did practice, a lot of the time, just taking a break, meaning, you know, I'm going to go home or I'm going to go for a walk and
Yep.
just try to process
Perfect.
type thing. You know, a lot of the time. And that was new for me. And
Yep.
it's uncomfortable, but you start to, with practice, it kind of becomes habit, you know? But then if you're with a motherfucker, he's going to say that, oh, you have a new coping mechanism. So I have to push you further until you break up with me, you know? And that's what it felt like. It felt like, oh, this isn't, I can't get you to break up with me because I need to, you know, I'm feeling enmeshed or I'm feeling whatever the fuck motherfucker was feeling. And I'm just, you know, and so he's got to push harder and harder and harder. And then it's like, I have no choice but to break up with you because now you're being abusive. And it's like, I love you in, you know, in my way. I love you, but I can't be around you if you're going to keep, you know, pushing me off the cliff, you know? And I'm just like, I can't win, you know? I just, it's a no-win situation.
Not with that relationship. So if you've got, at least if both people are a little bit healthier or willing to work towards that, when you then interrupt a argument or conflict with, I'm going to take a break because I know that I'm about to go into my angry defensive mode and I'm going to say all manner of shit that I'm going to regret later. So instead of saying that, I'm going to take myself off on a walk. I'm going to go back to my place. We'll catch up tomorrow. Actually, you haven't abandoned the relationship. And you both learn that you can survive a conflict.
Yeah.
Because when you come back the next day, when things have had a chance to settle, you actually have the ability to kind of reconnect with each other. Now, it's not going to work if when you say, okay, I'm going to take my little break because that's what I need. If the other person's like, well, that's my cue to keep pushing. And yeah, it will end the relationship. For sure.
Yeah.
Or it's going to be a really shit relationship.
Well, then, yeah, it's either gonna push, no, I don't know. I was gonna say it would push me backwards into being, you know, if you're gonna treat me like a monster, then I might as well be the monster.
Might as well act like one then.
Yeah. Or I'm going to, because I care about the person and I don't want to hurt them, then I would end up being the one walking on eggshells, you know, to not hurt them. And then that would push me back into a codependency thing where I'm enabling bad behavior.
Yeah.
Then my self-esteem is going to be really fucking low because now I'm letting this person be disrespectful over me.
Yeah.
And I can't fucking have that. So even if, you know, even if I was trying to be good, I can't do it. I can't walk on eggshells. I get angry. You know, it's like, if you think that I'm going to tiptoe around you just because you're always playing the fucking victim, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to do it. And so you have to, you know, you have to not be with this person. And it's so fucking painful because it's like, I'm trying so hard. Can't you see? Mommy, daddy, can't you see? Can't you give me a pat on the head and tell me what a good fucking person I am? It's disgusting. I'm disgusted.
Yeah, but you know, if you had a healthier partner at that point who could say, well, actually, she's really trying. At that point, if I was the couples therapist, I would be like, you better freaking acknowledge what she did. Now is a good time to go, thank you for not lashing out at me and for taking the break. Now let's talk about what we need to talk about.
Now, avoidant people who, whether fearful or dismissive, but, you know, avoidant, what was I going to say? If they're not going to open up if they're not going to share their shit and just hold resentments. So say if a partner is, just acting normal and doing normal stuff, right? And if something, and say the avoidant partner is not going to come straight out and say something like, I don't like that, or it bugs me when you do that, or whatever. If they're just going to hold resentments and everything towards them, I don't know where I'm going with this. Dr. Ruth.
If someone has a more avoidant style, they do need to figure out ways to communicate emotionally with their partner.
Yeah, because you can't discuss anything. Is it because they're afraid of conflict?
There's often a fear of conflict. There's often maybe not knowing how to talk about feelings and emotions. That's sometimes a bit absent because they haven't necessarily had it. Particularly if they've got a more extreme avoidant attachment where they really haven't had the experience of a parent or a caregiver or anyone else tuning into their emotions and helping them understand and make sense of them. And they'll often pride themselves on being good problem solvers, and they often are good problem solvers, So you kind of have, it's kind of both. They need to learn how to maybe express themselves a bit more emotionally. And I think the partners also need to learn a little bit like, well, actually they may express love differently. It may not come through the grand gesture. It may come through they fix your car for you. Or, that they will always make sure, I don't know.
Yeah, my thing was always acts of service.
They pick you up when, your train's late. They pick you up from the train station, that kind of thing.
Yeah. I always like doing acts of service.
Yeah.
As my love language. I like to receive acts of service, and I like to give acts of service. I think that's the avoidant way. That's how we show we care.
Yeah, and I think that's, you also have to be willing to let that, it's a kind of bit of give and take. You've got to be willing to accept that that's their love language. And what that means.
So if a avoidant partner cannot express their needs, they can come off as controlling too, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Because then these are the reasons why a partner would call a dismissive avoidant a narcissist. Correct? Because we do have a lot of the same behaviors, but the underneath is different. But a normal person ain't going to know the difference.
Yeah.
Correct? What would you say would be specific differences that they can be like, okay, they're not a narcissist?
If there's maybe a little bit more, it's so difficult. I would say doing couples therapy, particularly in the last few years where narcissism has been all over the internet.
Yeah.
It is so common that I will get a couple where one is convinced the other one is a narcissist. And I will meet them and think this person is highly avoidant, not narcissistic. And I think it's a bit less entitlement from the avoidant. They're a lot less emotionally reactive, full stop. They're less likely to have extreme rages in the way a narcissistic person might. They're much more quick to withdraw.
Not quick to withdraw?
No, they're quick to withdraw rather than argue.
The avoidant. Okay.
They'll shut it down.
Okay.
So they're not so much seeking validation, but what you can get very often is if the other part, and this is where it's a dynamic. It's not just you can't just kind of slap a label on people. If the partner interprets the withdrawal as, see, you're a narcissist and you don't care about me. And I'm going to tell you all the ways that you're a bad person, a bad partner, and you need to work on yourself, and you're unfixable and you're unsolvable. And all of those things, that the kind of criticism, so degrading that anyone is going to react with, well, F you then. Let me tell you all the ways that I don't like you, all the ways that you're too emotional. And the two really gonna fire each other up.
Okay. Okay, so if they withdraw and they're not attacking you and criticizing you and ripping you apart of, because we're always like, you're the problem, fix yourself, and make me happy. I'm not happy. It's got to be you. You have to be the problem. So if the partner isn't doing that and they just kind of man cave it, right? Or isolate themselves, they like to isolate themselves. Then they may not be narcissistic.
Yeah.
If they do
what I would say is, who cares? Who cares?
Right.
Are narcissistic? The question is much more, is there a capacity to change this pattern in your relationship?
Right.
I'm working with an individual. I'll say your partner isn't here. The only thing we can work on is you.
Right.
So what can you change to see if that impacts the dynamic between you and your partner? And if it does, great. And if it doesn't, well, what's the cost to you of continuing in this relationship? It's kind of, I think the one thing I want to really avoid suggesting is, if they're a narcissist, you need to get out. And if they're avoidant, you can work on it. Because there are people who are on the narcissistic spectrum who certainly can work on their relationships. And there are people on the avoidant spectrum where it's never going to be a happy relationship. Like, run. Especially if you are someone who's more on the anxious side of things and you want that closeness with your partner, an avoidant isn't a good choice for you. A more secure partner who is able to tolerate that kind of distance and give them their space without panicking is going to invite intimacy and closeness from them in a way that someone who's very anxious just won't. So I'm like, choose your partner well.
But one thing that I did during a certain part of my marriage, number one, quit drinking. Okay. So
Yes.
You quit drinking because that's, I feel, it helps keep you avoidant, isolating.
Drinking is the worst of their behaviors is gonna come out when they're drinking.
Yeah. So not drinking with your partner, right? So both of you aren't drinking. And because drinking, it would cause my anxiety to go up. So the anxiety goes away. Okay. Drinking is a depressant. So the depression, any low level or even residue of depression will go away. And then you can be more present for the people in your life. So when that happened, that was probably the best time. The best part of our relationship was like a year. Okay. A year out of 25 years, because we both stopped drinking. I was being more present because him around me, he became a little bit more anxious because he wanted the quality time. He was a touchy-feely and I was not. So even though I still wasn't a touchy-feely person, I still spent more time doing activities with him. So I made an effort to do, pair bonding or whatever with my partner, and not distracting myself with social media. That's another thing. When you're with your partner, no social media. And you're just focusing on
what you're really tapping into there are things that are like other factors that are really important for your relationship. If someone's drinking a lot, it's going to cause a problem. For some people, any amount of booze causes them to become quite obnoxious. And I also think, that's about, if he is that more touchy-feely, that sounds like he probably has a more anxious style. That you've got to find ways to be touchy-feely and connected with him that don't make you feel overwhelmed. Activities shared activities
Yeah.
are probably a great way to do that,
Mm-hmm.
because
Yeah.
it fulfills his need for connection without being so touchy-feely it's overwhelming for you.
Right. Yeah. So that's what we did for that time. But I got this is what happened. This is how the change happened. He went on a trip with our daughter. It was a school trip, and they were going to be gone for a week. So when mommy and daddy are away, I get to play. And I was so fucking bored because I didn't have anybody around to hold me accountable either. So I started drinking again. And then, ooh, I'm telling you. And then I went back to my already, I started to be more isolated. I didn't want to go out anymore when I was making an effort before and everything. And so not saying the relationship crashed and burned and everything, but I was hiding it too. I was like hiding it. So you're like doing double lifer shit. And I was just like this chronic fucking boredom. And so, spending more time trying to get my self-esteem juice from social media again. I wasn't doing my hobbies, as much anymore. And, it just went fucking downhill. It's that chronic void, Dr. Ruth, that if you don't feed it with positive things and that you consciously know that this is good for my relationship, you're just going to be impulsive and be like, fuck it, and I'm impulsive. So it's like, oh, fuck it. Because I live in the now, I live in the present, and I'm not thinking about the future or anything, when those impulsive things come, and then it's like, so I take responsibility. I take responsibility. But yeah, so you do have to be on the same page with your partner, as a team. This is a fucking team effort. I mean, you're in a relationship. What does that fucking mean? I ran my marriage like a business, and only that 1 year of not drinking and being very present with my partner was the only time there was any connection. It was yeah. And we got along really well, so it's like, anyway, I do not regret nothing, because I would never have met you, Dr. Ruth, if I didn't destroy my relationship. Anyway, so yeah, I'm just fine. All right. Can we discuss if borderlines who are a dismissive avoidant? So now, instead of narcissist versus dismissive avoidance, we know the difference. So we already know about the dismissive avoidant. What if, and I'm a combo, so what if the borderline is avoidant?
Borderlines tend to lean more anxious, I think.
Yeah, I know, but I have, I've witnessed the avoidant, the borderline flavor person. I even looked it up, and it was saying stuff like, instead of being outwardly with their behaviors, like their needy, anxious behaviors outward, they're keeping everything inside. So it would look kind of quiet borderline, because they're not talking about their feelings. They're not doing anything. They're keeping it close to their
Probably
chest.
much more in the way of detached. I don't want to feel my feelings, so I'm going to kind of dissociate and detach and become quite spacey and withdrawn.
It's difficult because it makes me think of like the passive aggressive vulnerable narcissist too.
Mhm.
Um, fearful avoidant
Yeah.
of it, because why does that look so similar to the vulnerable presenting narcissistic person?
And I
And
can't tell if this is a cat or a person.
it's a ghost.
Oh, it's a cat. Hello. You might come up and say hello.
And shut off your screen.
Yeah.
So is there a vulnerable narcissistic person who has a fearful attachment style, fearful avoidant attachment style, and then a borderline who has an avoidant attachment style? I mean, would they look alike?
So I'm trying to imagine it.
Uh-huh.
I think but anyone with a kind of personality disorder probably tends to be a little of both. The
Mhm.
capacity to kind of flip between the two.
Okay.
So I think often what you see with more borderline is that kind of presentation is that it's almost a faked kind of withdrawal avoidance. It's like, I will pretend I'm too cool for this because
Okay.
I don't want to admit just how important this person is for me. So I'm
Right.
going to play it cool and
Yes.
act withdrawn and avoidant because I think that's what will stop me getting abandoned.
Yes. Could they? Yeah, because there's a lot of sabotaging. There's a lot of sabotaging, also of. It's very confusing. Like somebody sabotaging the relationship, um, with whatever's going inside of them, and they can't express it. And then the borderline sabotages, like get the fuck away. So, I don't know. It's really confusing because it's like I'm cool with conflict. So it kind of pisses me off when I'm with somebody who is not fucking, won't argue with me, right? Um, and then they just keep everything in. They hold all these resentments, and then they sabotage the relationship because they have all these resentments towards you. And then, I'm like, well, what the fuck? That's why I can leave a relationship and be like, I tried my best. I did nothing wrong. But they're holding all these resentments towards me. Now, there could have been times where they did come to me with something and I dismissed it because that's just my nature, right? And it's just, for me, it's just like breathing. So same shit, different day. But then they'll never fucking come to me with anything again because they're like, she's just going to fucking dismiss my shit. Fucking narcissistic bitch, right? And then that's what's so difficult is because it's like, I can leave being like, I did everything right, motherfucker.
And they probably say the same thing.
Yeah.
And maybe what they did was try to bury things, not to address things, try to please you, try to keep you happy because I don't want to lose the relationship. So I placate and I fawn and I please until I get so damn resentful I'm no longer prepared to do it.
Yeah. And then they become little shits and nitpickers, and they're trying to, make me blow up so they can play the victim.
Mm-hmm. So that's where actually it comes across as criticism, and quite possibly what comes out as criticism is very poorly communicated. This is what I'm really feeling underneath.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So actually underneath, I feel very anxious, very fragile, very distressed by things. But what comes out is you're a shit.
Mm-hmm.
There's a mismatch, and it's like it's not much of an invitation.
Yeah.
So I always saying to people, that's not an invitation.
Mm-hmm.
If you want your partner to be comforting and to repair, you've got to invite them to do it. It's got to sound like it's something they might want to do.
Mm-hmm.
No, you're a shit and you need to apologize to me. beg for my forgiveness.
Yeah.
It's not the same as I feel really hurt by this and I'd like us to reconnect.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's nothing you can do though. So if you're
Well,
with
you
somebody
can't
like that,
say what's going on underneath when you're calling me a shit.
yeah.
What are you really feeling?
Yeah.
Right? You can do that.
Well, they can double down too, and then just keep ripping you apart. And then if they feel bad about it, then they can breadcrumb, I'll treat you good now because I shouldn't have ripped you apart, but I'm not going to admit to ripping you apart. I'm going to pretend that it never happened, but I'll do something nice for you to show you that, I don't want you to leave. Yeah, the whole thing is garbage because, it's like we're both trying to protect ourselves.
Yeah.
Any relationship, I'm not just talking about me, just, everybody watching, you're trying to protect yourself because when you do expose yourself, and you get shut down, and I'm pretty sure I've done this too, where you expose yourself, you get shut down, and I will either shut down and I'm never fucking talking to you again about anything, and I'm trapped because I'm married to your ass, right? Or I will double down and rip you apart to make you feel small because you just made me feel small for being vulnerable, and also never being vulnerable again. I'm not gonna, yeah.
That's going to work really well.
Hey, it works well. It worked well my whole life. I always got my way until I tried to work on myself, and then I got stabbed in the heart 100 fucking times. So what does that tell me? That being better is going to get you destroyed. And then you're like, no, there's a unicorn out there for you. There's a unicorn that will work with you. Yeah, I don't fucking believe it. I don't believe it.
Yeah, dude, you know what? There's two things. You've got to work on your own stuff and you've got to choose the right partner.
I know. It's so funny when you start a relationship and then now in the past, a narcissistic person is living in the fantasy world of perfect love, right? There's never going to be conflict ever because you're living in that present moment of love and light.
They're going to be so perfect now.
Yes, they're going to be so perfect.
They're healed.
Yeah, they don't have any, they're never going to fuck you over. They're never going to say anything to ruin this. We can ride this out forever. It's a movie, right? It's a fucking movie. And then when something happens to trigger me, of course, it's you. You fucked it up. You are the one that ruined the relationship because you made me feel. You made me feel. That's why I think it's so important that we learn to regulate our own emotions and know our own triggers and stuff like that. So we can say, if we do feel a feeling, to be like, oh, where's that coming from? And then you don't have to, and then that's when you take space so you can kind of dissect that within yourself and then come back without such a heightened, emotion or whatever. Because otherwise, as soon as you say something, I'm going to attack you. I'm going to say something fucked up. It could be very short. I don't have to rage on you. I can just say one little fucked up thing, or whatever. And then that's going to trigger you. And then we're fighting. So, and that's usually the pattern. And then if you really care about me, you will want to repair our fight, but you have to come to me because I'm a fucking pussy. I'm a coward to have to, repair it in a healthy way. Do you need a pillow, Dr. Ruth? It's all hella late over there. It's like super late.
It is so, that repair is so key and it takes two.
Mm-hmm.
And I always say that, you cannot have I'm such a believer, you gotta work on your own stuff, right?
Mhm,
But you also the other person's gotta respond.
mhm,
And as you work in your own stuff, they will respond. They may
mhm.
not respond the way you want them to, but they will respond. And that's how you figure out if this relationship's got legs.
Yeah, when I was dating this one dude, um, he said something that pissed me off, and it was through text. He said, oh, what was it? Now, it wasn't that I was gonna send nudes or anything. It was nothing like that, but we were talking about something where he says, "Men are visual creatures." Now, I've had predator dudes say that to me, meaning they want fucking naked, right? They
Yeah.
want we're visual creatures. And that pissed me off because it's so fucking disrespectful. I don't treat me like an object, you piece of shit. You're the fucking object. But anyway, besides the point. So he said that to me, and I started to ramp it up, and I was starting to, and I was getting fucking pissed, and he could feel it because instead of texting, my phone starts ringing, and he's like, "Hold on, something's not right here. What's going on?" And then in that moment, in that exact moment, I go, "You know what? It's got nothing to do with you. I was pissed off about a past person who said the same thing to me, and that's why." And there was a quick repair like that,
Yeah.
very quick. And I was like, "Ooh, this is kind of cool, to repair so fast and for me to, understand why I'm upset so quick." Of course, this is not what happens every time, but
No.
I was all sending off the doves. "Oh, this is so wonderful."
Yeah, but if you have more of those experiences, it does change the tone of the relationship.
Yeah, but it's cool that you would be with somebody who can stop you in the moment when they see you starting to go, and be like, "Wait, wait," So that was really cool to be like, instead of getting defensive, they're like, "Wait, I think we're miscommunicating. Wait, 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 wait." And it's like, "Yep, yep, we are. Okay." You know, and then stopped that.
Mhm.
So that was lovely. I had a lovely experience, a lovely experience. Thank you, person of 3 weeks. You learn something new with everyone you talk to. You learn
Yeah.
something new. Um, okay.
And you just imagine if you had a few of those kind of experiences in a relationship, suddenly a moment of conflict is way less overwhelming because you were like, "Hang on, there's something going on here. What is it?"
Yeah. The only thing is, like when I talk about this shit, people might be thinking, "Oh, well, they're having a normal relationship until this one conflict comes up." No,
Mm-mm.
no, because what I'm doing is I'm vetting my person as well. So I'm asking a lot of questions. I'm trying to get to, who the fuck are you, guy? And I'm trying to collect data mining. I heard it's called data mining. So I'm data mining my person, everything. I'm kind of throwing out little seeds. I'm baiting the person. I'm seeing, so I'm doing all this recon shit, the whole time as well. Or if I cannot straight out come to you and talk to you openly because of my avoidance, I'm going to bait the information out of you in a different way. Or I'm going, and not passive aggressive, or I'm going to, if I want to tell you that you suck in some way, I'm going to tell you a story about somebody else sucking the
Whoa.
way that you suck, so you can see the suck,
Yeah,
something like,
most people don't realize you're talking about them.
oh, they know. Oh, that's why I'm a shit. But that's how I cope without coming straight forward and talking to you over issues. So I'm doing all the shade, to fuck with your head, this psychological maze or whatever, to get the information that I want, or to give you information that I cannot give you. because I'm a coward. Anyway, so there's a lot of that going on with me too. You know, it's like I feel like there's a hair, like a anyway. So it's kind of like running the gauntlet in the beginning of our relationship. I have to make you work for it, going through all of these psychological tests, emotional tests, of course, the physical test. But, you know, it's just all of these things just so I can feel safe in the relationship. And then the conflict is secondary. That's the next, you know. So I'm already putting you through a bunch of FBI training and shit, you know, here. And then the fighting. And can we repair, or am I just going to get triggered and fucking take off, right? So it's not easy being with me, Dr. Ruth, or any narcissistic person with psychopathy.
Not easy for anyone, right? But it's also not easy for you.
Oh yeah. It's so funny. It's because I run on autopilot, even with all this self-study and everything. I see myself, you know, running on autopilot with this data mining shit. And just, you know, I'm figuring out all kinds of crap. Body language. Oh, girl. Studying up on body language and watching, you know, all of that shit. Or like this dude had Snapchat, and I said, Snapchat's for whores. Snapchat's for whores. Because, you know, the pictures erase and everything, so you can send your naked parts and whatever. I go, it's for children and for cheating whores. And he's like, I barely use it. And it's like, oh, you're barely a cheating whore. So that doesn't make you a cheating whore.
Or a child.
Yeah. And so then, you know, and then I don't talk about it anymore. But I'm letting him know you're a whore. And that's degrading and belittling and everything like that. And I'm just fucking throwing it out there, you know. Now, I don't care. I don't give a shit. It's like, don't be shady. Don't be shady. I'm the queen of shade. I know all shady behavior. And if I'm trying to be good, don't you fucking shade on me. And that wouldn't be a double standard if I am trying to be good. Now, if a narcissistic person isn't trying to be good, it would be a double standard. Like, you can't talk to these people, but I can talk to whoever I want, you know? Yeah. So should we see if there's any questions?
If there's any good questions.
Yeah. Because I know you're going to pass out in a minute. Let's see. How is personality disorder connected with attachment styles? Well, you said everybody has an attachment style, correct?
Everyone has an attachment style. Yeah. People with personality disorders will tend to have more extreme and more rigid attachment styles.
Yeah, 100%. We're more dense.
A lot more to a personality disorder than the attachment style.
Let's see. Are attachment styles interchangeable with personality disorders? Or are they distinct constructs? Specifically, which attachment styles are associated with individuals who experience a high need of emotional regulation and reassurance from others?
Well, that's an anxious attachment style, usually.
Mm-hmm. I don't think it matters. Who is it present in men or women? It doesn't matter, right? It can be in both.
May look a bit different.
How?
You know, it's hard to tell. I think generally, just culturally, it's more acceptable for women to be more emotionally needy.
Right.
So they may look more for kind of emotional reassurance and that kind of thing. Whereas with men, sometimes it manifests a little bit more in maybe jealousy or controlling behavior.
Mm-hmm.
But not necessarily. Not necessarily.
Or anger or passive aggression.
Yeah.
Or drinking, depression. All right.
Yeah, women do all of those things too.
Right. Let's see. Okay, you already answered, Darren. Let's see. Thank you, Duke. Duke says that he loves us. Let's see.
Oh, he's from Scotland. Hello, another Brit.
Can narcissists take responsibility or acknowledge their bad behavior, but it's actually a manipulative tactic rather than sincere accountability? To me, I don't think it's real because it's just in the moment. So would that be real if it's just in the present moment? Because if I'm going to lose a partner or I want to get back a partner and I'm taking accountability of whatever because I want you back so bad. It's kind of like how narcissistic people will be like, I'll go to therapy, and making all these future promises. And they could mean it in the moment, but their anxiety calms down once they have their partner back and they're back in that safe space. And so they don't have to do any work. They don't have to do those promises because they already have you back. If they were real, you would not get right back together with this person. And they would have to prove to you that they actually want to work on the relationship by still having some contact with you, but you're not fucking right back in the relationship. It's kind of like when you're separated from your partner instead of divorcing and you're living apart and you're doing the work and you're showing and you're redating your partner and not having, all the benefits of being in a relationship, that they have to earn that back. Does that make sense? Is that right?
Yeah. It's really difficult because this almost gets into the kind of no true Scotsman kind of argument that you're not really a narcissist if you are willing to take any kind of accountability, and any kind of accountability from a narcissist must be fake.
Right.
What I always say is it's probably a matter of degrees, and that sometimes there can be that genuine motivation in the moment, like you say, and then it will wax back into maybe something that's a bit more manipulative. Manipulative may be the wrong word. It's more that it's difficult to sustain,
right?
Rather than it's an active and intentional manipulation. But it may also be that over time, as the relationship begins to improve and as they begin to maybe get a little bit better in themselves, you can build on that sincerity. So I wouldn't rule it out entirely, whilst also not wanting to be naive and suggest like, yeah, of course, if they just make up their minds, everything's going to be great, because that's not true.
Yeah. So like when I apologized to my ex-husband after 2 months being apart and did the codependency stuff, right? And I came back and apologized. I did apologize because I was like, I was doing that fucking codependent where it was like, we have to get married. We have to get married. We have to get married, and I was really fucking needy and controlling and, type shit, because I was giving him wife behavior and we're not married. And so it's like, well, I'm moving out, and I moved out for a breakup. And instead, I'm like, how about we get back together, but we don't live with each other and we just date, type thing. And then I practiced my new skills of not needing him, not needing him at all. I was like, we don't have to ever get married. I just want to date. I'll date you forever, but I'm not living with you ever again, And I'm just like, and because, and then over time, with all those boundaries and all that, whatever. And yeah, we had little fights, but no breakup fights. You know what I mean? We would have fights and then not talk to each other for.
Some people that works better.
Yeah.
To live apart. To have a relationship where you live apart can sometimes
Yeah.
work better for some people.
Yeah. He wanted to get married a year later, but he had to see the new behavior, you know?
Yeah.
And then that made him not take advantage of me. He didn't even have to change anything about him. I changed. And then he changed
Yeah.
because of my different behavior. So that's how that worked, you know? So I know that I can do it, man. I can change shit. Anyway, so, and then the second time I went to apologize and everything, and I was dissecting all the different things. And I was just like, because if he is more avoidant, I'm like, we lived next to each other, and it's like, well, let me give you more space, because it was almost like we were living on top of each other anyways, because he would come home from work. My avoidant ass gets to be alone all day long, right? He has to work all day, and then I'm right up his ass as soon as he gets home. So I'm just like, well, let's give each other more space. You go do your thing. I leave you alone. I do my whatever. And I'm trying to figure it out and just be like, let's try whatever. And several other things too. But I was really looking into it and being like, I really value this person. He's a motherfucker. He's done motherfucker shit.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, I think you're pushing me away because you're feeling enmeshed. So let me give you space. And then maybe, just try different things. I didn't want to just discard the whole, thing after figuring this shit out. Right. And he's like, hell to the no. And so there's nothing you can do, because I'm not begging, it's just like, fuck it. Nobody wants to grieve, especially a narcissistic person who doesn't want to do bad coping mechanisms of jumping into a new relationship, to distract me from any pain. It's like, you asshole, you're going to make me feel my goddamn feelings. I'm going to have to feel my fucking feelings. And I don't know how long I'm going to be grieving this person. It's like, it's brand new. And it's just like, shit. So, but there's nothing you can do. You have to go through it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh. So, so I'm saying that when we apologize, you have to see, if you want to be like, okay, we'll see if this works, let's try it out. If you want to do that, it is possible that the person that you're with does value your relationship, and does not want to, run away. But I mean, if somebody's cheating on you and shit, fuck that shit. You might have a different opinion, Dr. Ruth, but no.
None of it's consistent. No, I agree. Look, people make mistakes. Things happen. Cheating can mean many, many things. But someone who's repeatedly cheating on you, someone who says they have stopped and it turns out they haven't, no.
Yeah. Because to me, I just think that just like the whole apology thing in the moment, just to get you back, but you forgave me. So in my mind, it's like, oh, this person isn't going to leave me. So I can just do it again and do it again. And if I get caught, all I have to do is just say the same bullshit and get back in there, and some what do you call it? Some people, I don't just want to say narcissistic people, but some people will blame you for cheating on you. They'll be like, well, you weren't emotionally available to me, or you didn't, you weren't cooking and cleaning, or you weren't whatever, there was something missing in that marriage. And so they get all these things in the marriage except for one little thing, right? Or you don't suck my dick. I had a fucking guy. Sorry for getting vulgar. I know you're okay with it, but I had a guy wanting to be like, just because the wife or the girlfriend didn't want to regularly choke on his meat, that he felt entitled to it, you know?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's very narcissistic. That's entitlement.
Yeah.
That's
And he was like, I know, but he's on my channel saying that she's the narcissist for withholding
right.
wrong suck. And I'm just like, hold on a second. Now, I think that couples should, provide all the, sexy time goodness and everything, because this is your person. So if,
But it's also got to be mutually enjoyable, right?
yeah,
So you
but
got to find things that each person finds enjoyable.
he was afraid that if he told her, all I said was, when she does do it, say how much you love it, compliment her, because if she gets off on pleasing you, doing things, she will want to do it again, instead of you doing this and being entitled to it.
But that's also not an invitation, right?
What?
That's not much of an invitation.
No.
I
So,
would be like, there's an art of seduction.
yeah.
Make it appealing.
Yeah. And she doesn't have to want to do it all the time. I mean, there was, I've been in relationships where I don't want to do it because of the person that I'm with and their entitlement. And then I was with people who did not feel entitled and was just over the moon happy that I do it. And that made me want to do it more, because I'm getting my self-esteem boost by them saying, oh my God, you're the best, type stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do that more. So listen, boys, please clap your hands for the things that you really like, so they'll do more. And ladies, ask your boys what they like, because, they know their stuff, just like we should be able to tell our boys, no, move it over there. No, over there. And tell them how to get to your special spot, right? And at least have that open communication. But, I've been with, people who were like, don't ever use a vibrator around me. Don't ever, because they're, their fragile fucking ego, right? Or their fragile sense of self. Like, no, only my penis. No. And it's just like,
you're missing out. You could have a whole lot of fun bringing a vibrator into your sex life.
yeah, I had to actually talk, my ex into, saying it's got nothing to do with you. It's got nothing to do with your manliness or whatever. And after I stroked his ego and was like, it's okay, it's got nothing, then everything gets way better in the bedroom. It's like, can I be pleased too? Can I get something, something? And we're all happy. Is that okay? And then, then they're like, yeah, all right. And then it's way better. So boys, quit getting intimidated by, goodies and stuff, and enjoy, together. Anyways, we were talking about cheating and stuff. So if they're not, getting a particular thing at home, they're going to go look for it someplace else. I mean, it doesn't always have to be sex, because I've seen men who just want attention, just want praise, want affirmations. Their dongs will get hard just because, you're saying, oh my God, I love how you do that. Or, or being the person that's praising them. When they go home, they have a wife who is totally ignoring the attaboy stuff, or I appreciate you and I'm grateful and blah, blah, blah. And then you have this bitch at work giving your boy all this praise, and he's daydreaming about, sexy time, So you kind of want to figure out who, the needs of your partner, and asking them, just like I told one person, I go, she was feeling insecure about him because he's it's business. He runs a company, and he has to deal with a bunch of, different people, women and everything. And so she's feeling very insecure about it. And I'm like, why don't you ask her what would make her feel secure? Why don't you ask her? Tell her she's number one. She's your queen. You can have all the fucking work wives you want with boundaries, but she's your queen. She's your number one. You want her to feel safe and secure. You're the power couple. Ask her. And he fucking did, and she's all happy and shit. I mean, how fucking hard?
Sometimes you don't even have to do much other than ask.
Yes. And then she was like, well, I would do, and it was just one fucking thing. She just wanted one thing, and it was so easy. It was the quickest fucking fix. And now she's all happy and she feels loved and cared for, ask each other, what can I do to make you feel safe and secure? Or what can I do to correct to bring us closer together? Mm-hmm. Is there anything, And oh God, I had my mother, even in mother, your family relationships. I asked something for my mother, just to be supportive, just something. And she fucking turned it around and just crushed me. It was almost like, I'm thinking it was a criticism for me asking for something from her. And then she turned around and did the total opposite. And I'm just like, and I told her, I said, if I didn't know you better, I'd think you're a sadist, because it felt so intentional to make me feel like fucking shit, garbage. And I'm just like, are you a fucking monster? And it was just like, and you can't be around anybody like that. So if you do ask your partner, what can I do to make things better? And then they tell you, and you turn around and you do the complete opposite or double down, because it's like, don't fucking ask your partner anything.
Well, what I would say to the partner is, they've just given you very valuable information.
Yes.
Pay attention.
Yeah, they don't fucking care. Yeah. Or they're feeling criticized, but they asked for the criticism. It's almost like they want to feel like shit.
Yeah. I think if someone comes to you and asks, how can I be a better partner to you? Then you need to respond with the same kind of attitude.
Mm-hmm.
Not, oh, here's my laundry list of all the things you've ever done wrong and all the resentments I have.
Right. One thing that I learned, if it's a real important thing, I'm coming at you straight away. If it's something low level, I can keep low level resentments. Okay. Just really.
But that's key to a relationship, because if you can't cope with a little level of resentment and annoyance and frustration, well, you can't live with people, because people are annoying.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. So that's the price of entry. If you're going to live your life in a relationship with someone else, they're going to annoy you from time to time. So yeah, there has to be a degree of tolerance. And yeah, the bigger things do need to be talked about.
Yeah. Yeah. And then it depends on how they react when you bring things to their attention. But I prefer to accuse people instead of asking. Because
that's not a good strategy, Sarah.
it makes me feel like I come from a place of strength and I'm not tiptoeing around. So I'm letting them know that don't fuck with me. It's just how I do it, it's because if I'm like, are you talking, why are you talking to your coworker, all the time? How come there's no boundaries with you and the whatever? I would be like, are you fucking that chick? That's what I would do. What the fuck are you doing? It would be very accusatory. And,
How
because I'm letting them know, I'm not tolerating that shit. And if you're fucking doing something and I find out, I'm fucking out of here. And I'm going to smear the fucking shit out of anybody who will listen that you're a garbage human being. I can't help it. I'm just like, woo! Because it's so disrespectful, It's like, don't fuck with me. Now, back in the day, it's a double standard, right? I'll just lie about what I'm doing and everything, and then make you seem like you're crazy for even thinking that I would mess around with somebody. Gaslight. But yeah, I don't do that anymore. I don't know if it's just with age. It's probably with age. I just feel like your relationship is sacred, that it should be sacred. That I don't know. Maybe it's because I hate fucking humans and stuff. But it's like I don't want to use anybody.
I don't treat the relationship as sacred. You've got to kind of. This is a really important person to you. You've got to treat them as such.
Yeah. And well, because of lack of empathy, I wouldn't be thinking about that shit before,
Yeah.
And now it's like, even if I don't see the problem, my partner sees the problem. And I do want to put myself in that place. If he was doing it, how would I feel? So, I really have to think instead of trying to defend myself, because I remember one time I had this one guy friend that I knew had a crush on me, and he wants to have a relationship with me. But we've been, talking for like 10 years. And yes, he was fucking secondary supply source. Yeah. But anyways, when I got into a relationship with my partner, it's like I didn't want to discard that one fucking source, right? And I said, well, I do have this one friend. And I was kind of starting to compromise. And he looked at me and I was like, yeah, okay, you're right. I'm just like, because I was going back into my old ways of trying to protect all my shit. Yeah. And he gave me side eye, and I'm just like, no, you are more important than this person. You are my person. Not this person. You are number one. So it took me a second, but I was just like, no, you're right. And I'm not, no. And if you do have long-term friendships with, somebody who boosts your self-esteem or whatever, and you're in a new relationship and you're having boundaries and stuff, and yes, you've known this person for, I don't care how long, that person should understand that, I'm going to have, you can always go back to your friend. If your friend is understanding, if you have this massive breakup or whatever.
You can have friendships that boost your self-esteem as long as they don't cross the line into.
No, they always cross the line.
Well,
they always cross the line. They believe me. Every guy friend I ever had, and I would tell them, and they would try to make an excuse. I go, if I said I want to sleep with you right now, what would you say? Would you protect our friendship, or would you have sex with me? They're like, yeah, I'd have sex with you. Yeah, I'd have sex with you. So yeah, no. You don't want to have a threat to your relationship around.
It so depends, because I have male friends. I have really good male friends.
Well,
I can guarantee you we're not going to be getting into bed together.
Well, I mean, there's also, when I was with my ex-husband, I didn't care if he had female friends and I had my male friends. We didn't care. It was, he gets his self-esteem, I get my self-esteem. So we didn't give a shit. But if I'm in a relationship with somebody and that's, that is not okay, they're gone, because you're number one. And it's not because I know, like I said, they would bed me in a second. They're just fucking waiting. They're waiting for me to hit them up. I know. you know, so it's just like, So I guess it really depends. There's a lot of variables, I guess.
Yeah. And it depends on you, and it depends on the nature of the relationship and who they are, and who you are, and the chemistry between you and the
Yeah.
friend of the opposite sex.
Yeah. Yes. And I don't think that these men even understand how special they were for me to discard all secondary supply sources for them being who I am. Please, should be fucking grateful. Grateful that I only wanted to. Oh, makes me so mad. Why does that make me so mad? And it makes other people mad too. Okay, so I've talked to a lot of other cluster B. I know this is getting off topic, and we'll get
No,
back.
that's okay. It's fine.
But other cluster Bs too that I've talked to that have a very dark side to them, and they treat their partner with, you know, with gloves, right? They make sure that they're holding back their monster and not destroying them. And it does make them feel emasculated or weak or whatever, because it's men, you know, these men who are treating their like borderline women and not destroying her, you know, type thing or whatever. And me with, you know, my past person, it's like we feel so angry at ourselves because they have no idea how good we were treating them compared to, you know, past people or whatever. And we're trying to be so good for this, you know, partner. And, you know, and why are we so fucking mad? Why are we so angry at our partner? Because maybe maybe they don't know. They don't have anything to compare it to.
And maybe that, I think it may also be that in that kind of situation, you're actually quite self-absorbed, really focused on, I'm on my best behavior, I'm being good, I'm not doing the bad things that I used to do.
Yes.
And that's not the same as I'm going to pay attention to this person and what they need and what they want and the connection that we have. And actually, it's very tense. It comes with a huge amount of tension and a pressure to perform rather than actually being able to relax and enjoy the relationship.
There's no relaxing, Dr.
Exactly. But
there's no relaxing.
Yeah.
It's always performative. I'm playing the good girlfriend. I'm playing the good wife.
I think that's the issue, because it's a huge amount of pressure to perform.
Yes. Yes. That's why I'm angry. It's easy to be the tyrant. It's easy. You know, you're just on autopilot. You don't give a shit. It takes a lot of restraint to not destroy. It takes a lot of restraint. And I want applause, God damn it. I know, you know, whatever. That's we want applause.
I got to think about wrapping up.
All right.
It is nearly 11:30 here.
All right. Let me see if there's anything else.
If there's any good questions, I'm happy to take them.
All right.
And I'll say hello to Rayanne.
Super anxiety.
Hello, super anxiety chick.
Dealing with their do you see anything? Oh, this I never heard this before. Hold on. What's your experience with cluster B people that indulge in medical self-sabotage in the sense that they may have some type of fictitious disorder? In my specific case, a single parent that abuses such practices to abuse their child. Isn't that like Munchausen by proxy? Yeah, Munchausen by proxy.
Munchausen by proxy is when they make the child sick.
Yeah.
In order to get attention. So they kind of invent the sickness in the child. Whereas Munchausen's, or I think that's kind of fictitious disorder. I would say I don't have really any experience of that.
All right.
I mean, I've heard of it.
Ultimatums do not work.
Yeah, pretty much. I'd agree with that.
I don't think I do ultimatums. I just fucking leave. It's kind of like you're training your person too to walk on eggshells, right? But I'm just gonna fucking take off. Or in the past, I'm just gonna take off and not stay there or just say I'm taking space. I'm just gonna leave. So to train you, I do not like that behavior instead of actually voicing it, you know? So Dr. Ruth is tired of listening to lunatics. All right.
I am slightly, because I have a cough, I keep hitting the mute button.
Oh, let me see.
Sorry. I said I'm sparing everyone from listening to me cough.
All right. I don't think there's anything specific for you. So a green blouse with gold trim would look great on Dr. Ruth.
That's interesting.
Is she Welsh?
No.
Okay.
Northern Irish.
All right.
But I've lost the accent.
Oh, here we go. Dr. Ruth, my dismissive is only with woman. Are you drinking? With woman I'm interested in, but my dismissiveness comes in at the beginning because I can't believe she liked me. I went through this for over 20 years. So my dismissiveness is only with women I'm interested in. Is that possible?
Yes. In fact, likely, because the reason it comes in is because they're too close. Because then they're threatening. This person has the capacity to hurt me because I actually care about them.
Oh, yeah.
So therefore I get dismissive because I feel uncomfortable with that kind of intimacy.
Yeah. I've seen that shift before.
Yeah.
Even just guys I go out on a date with,
Yeah.
you can see that they're all excited and everything, and then you see them kind of pull away a little bit and stuff.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, can you just stay one person, throughout this whole date? Why are you,
Yeah, but that's potentially a response to them liking you enough to care about the answer and then withdrawing because they're scared to get the answer.
Mm-hmm.
When I work with people who are dating, they're like, oh, when should I ask them if they're serious? And I'm like, before you care about the answer.
Mm-hmm.
Because once you care about the answer, the temptation can be not to ask, not to clarify.
Mm-hmm.
And I would imagine for Shannon that actually, because he cares about whether or not she likes him, that's exactly why he's becoming more dismissive. And the answer would be to be quite vulnerable and to allow, there's a risk to allow yourself to potentially get your heart broken by expressing your interest.
You can even say, by this date, if we're not feeling it, then we're done. So we don't have to waste each other's time. One thing that I said to this dude was, I said, I think I said, I'll be here until I'm bored. And then another time I was like, I go, you can fucking leave anytime you want. I'm not stopping you. And I get to leave too. That's what I said. I was like, I'm fucking outie. If I don't like this, I'm out. And if you don't like it, you're out. That's what I said. But with my last partner, I really fucking liked him. And I'm like, we're deleting the apps, right? That's what I told him after 2 weeks. I'm like, I was talking to him for a week, and then we were dating for a couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. And I'm like, we're deleting the apps. Yes. And he was like, I don't want to delete it because our conversation will go away. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a shit. We're deleting them Because if he was like, no, then I would be like, well, then this is our last date. Let's go have sex because this is it. You know, it's like, You have to be okay to walk away. And if they're going to use an excuse to keep you around in a situationship, I've
Run,
used those excuses before.
run.
I've had a guy say, are you dating other people? And I said, when I'm with you, I'm only with you. And he was fine with that. When I'm with you, I'm only with you. He did not dig deeper. Nothing.
And what about when you're not with me?
Yeah, he didn't fucking say that because you're scared. You don't want to dig in because then I'm going to be like, I'm with fucking somebody else. I'm doing other things, you know?
Yeah, but also what I would say is you're not being at all upfront. You know how he's going to interpret that, and you're avoiding answering the
Oh,
question.
shit, yeah, I did not say I was
You
not being
know it.
manipulative. I did not say that. I did not say I was being manipulative.
Totally.
Because I didn't want him to, you know, not want to hang out. But if he said, fuck this, I'm not going to see you anymore, I did not give a shit. That's one thing is that if you don't give a shit about a guy or girl, they're more attracted to you for some goddamn reason. You know, you enjoy your time together and stuff, you know, with them, but they're totally, you know, you're cool if they don't ever come around again, you know? So that's the way all of my past relationships were. It's like, I don't give a shit. I don't care. And that's because I can't attach anywhere, you know.
But that activates someone's anxious attachment style. So
I don't do it on purpose.
chemistry. I know. I'm not saying you're doing it on purpose, but the person who's more anxiously attached is like, I really want this person, and because they're not quite there, because I kind of detect that they're not all in, and I feel a little bit insecure, I want them all the more.
And then if you ever give them to you fully, they think they got you. And then they're going to treat you, then they're going to go to their normal assholey way. And then you have to keep them in line and be a fucking bitch.
This is not how you have a healthy relationship. This not how it works.
I just like terrorizing you when you're in that sleepy state, right? Now you're going to have nightmares.
No, I'm just like, you know, I can tell you how my partner talked to me about deleting the apps. Because he got there before I did, which is impressive because I was pretty fast. And he just said to me, by the way, I deleted the app. He didn't ask me, have you deleted the app? He didn't say, I'm asking for a commitment. He just said, by the way, I deleted the app.
I told this guy, I said, I'm so glad I don't have to go on the dating apps anymore. This was a test to see if he would get avoidant and scared and his attitude changed and thinking that he can treat me any fucking way. Yeah, he was gone a couple days later because
You're kidding, really? I'm so surprised.
Yeah. Because I'm just like, yeah, because they get all like, oh my God, smother time, you know, type shit. And it's like, we were love bombing each other. You know, and I told him, I go, this is going to stop. I told him, I was being honest. I go, it ain't going to be like this forever. I don't want to manipulate anybody. You know, I'm just like, this type of treatment you're getting right now ain't gonna fucking be forever. And he's like, I hope it is. And then he gets all fucking scared. It's like, go away. Go away, bro. Anyways, it's being with me is difficult, Dr. Ruth. Being with me is difficult, Dr. Ruth. Anyways, all right, I'll let you go. So
it is a pleasure, as always.
Thank you, Dr. Ruth.
Take care.
All right. Do you undo it or do I? Fuck here. I'll let you go, Dr. Ruth. All right. I don't know what to do. Okay. I'm just going to go and see real quick if there's any regular questions. Did you guys like that? Did you guys like it? Let me see. Can ugly people be narcissistic? Yes. Or is it typically more attractive people that have more dating options? No. Narcissistic personality disorder gets created, that big mixing bowl of abuse in childhood. So it doesn't matter if you're skinny, fat, ugly, cute. It doesn't matter. They're especially, I have been duped by, some really unattractive, people. It's that they have their self-esteem, how everybody thinks, oh, narcissists have such high self-esteem. And their charisma and just the way that they know how to manipulate, people. This one guy, he was not attractive at all. But the way that he would give women attention and then take it away. He would, if it's a beautiful woman, he would go, I would watch him. So he would go and everybody's giving her attention. He would give just like one word attention and then go away. So she's being swarmed by all these men. He's getting a lot of attention on his social media by men and women. So he's fun town. And that makes her gravitate towards him. Like, why isn't he giving me all this attention? And everybody likes him and he's so fun and funny and everybody wants his attention. Well, I want his attention too. And then she's looking at the crumbs of attention that she's getting from Guy as like it's a big fucking meal, especially you don't have to be, if you have lots of friends, even just social media, right? So it's fake and shit. It's just shallow friendships and stuff, or fake depth in the DMs or whatever. That's more attractive to somebody else. Also, predators are going to go after broken people. So when you're on social media and you're like going through a breakup and you're crying on the fuck, or you're going through some shit or somebody died or you're just a weepy fucking mess on social media, a predator is going to see that shit, friend you, and be your savior. You guys need to watch what you put on the fucking socials, dude. Yeah. You'll also have, the political guy or the cerebral narcissist who's acting like they're smarter than everybody else on the planet about whatever topic, right? And then they're having all these debates and stuff. And you're just like, oh my God, he's so smart. He's so smart. And then he fucking targets you who isn't that intelligent. And, you may be more, beautiful, somatic, my titties, and you're just going to be like, oh my God, this smart guy really loves me. Oh my God. Right? Anyways. You got to watch out for that shit. Know who you are. And, when you start getting butterflies from some rando on social media. People that don't take time after a toxic relationship are just running from dealing with their issues. 100%. 100. Sometimes after, for me, in my past relationships, when you're having, you're already devaluing your partner, or you're looking for shiny new experiences, or with other people or whatever, you're already, 1 foot out the door anyways at the end of your relationship, or you're at the end of the relationship in your mind already. You're already searching for somebody else. So you don't even need to grieve. this is how I felt. It's like, okay, I'm done with you, on to the next, or even, just on to being alone and without my person, like being needy and wanting my attention and wanting, the typical shit, right? Wanting all my attention and everything. And then I'll just be, this is why when you, break up with us or break up with an avoidant, that they have that, that moment of relief. Like, oh, thank God, the naggy or smothering, crying, begging person who wants to fix it. I've been on the opposite side. So, I'm throwing up for myself too. But, they're happy that you're gone. They're happy that you're gone. And only over time that they are going to miss you. They're going to miss you, especially if you're doing better. They don't want to come back to low-level garbage. So always do your glow up and get your shit together and everything. And hopefully by that time, when your person who discarded you and wanted nothing to do with you comes back, you're going to be like, no, I know my self-worth now. I know that I'm not going to ever beg for a fucking thing in my life again. So, no. But I love you. I love the way that you treated me. I'm not going to treat you that way anymore. No. That was needy shit. I don't need you anymore. I don't need you anymore. So, you're not going to want me because I'm not going to do those things for you anymore. Now, if you're with somebody who is an avoidant, they're going to love that. So if you were anxious before and you broke up with somebody avoidant or even narcissistic and avoidant or whatever, and you get back together, they're going to love the new you because you're giving them all kinds of space. You're not needy. And that's going to make them, more comfortable in the relationship and all that stuff. Of course, you have the arguments and repair bullshit that you're going to have to deal with. But this is why they're going to want to be back around you, but you're never going to feel safe. You can't, be like, when you get married and stuff, I mean, you're a team and people feel like, oh, I need you in my life as a teammate. They're just like, no, need means needy, and then they want to get away from you. It's like, okay, I hate your fucking guts. You want to date? You're a fucking loser. I just want to use you. Is that cool? And usually avoidant men are like, yeah, I love it. I love it. Treat me like shit. Treat me like shit, Sarah. And it's like, okay. And then they feel safe. You never ask them for shit. And you treat them like shit if they don't give you what you want. So it's like, and then they're always excited, and then you break up or, they have the fear of the breakup and then you have the romantic makeups and everything. When there are no more romantic makeups, it's the fucking end. It's the end in these toxic relationships. Like I said, I was married for a long time. We fucking dealt with the bullshit and whatever, it wasn't, there was no big makeup breakups, after getting married. It was just like, okay, we're both a fucking team. So, yeah. I'm afraid I don't know what a dismissive avoidant is. Is that similar to an enabler? No, an enabler is a codependent or somebody who's more anxious that doesn't want, that's the people pleaser, doing things for you just so you won't leave them. The dismissive avoidant is the get the fuck away from me. Get away from me. I don't want to lose my independence. I want you. I don't need you. That's another thing. If you ever hear that shit, I don't want you. I need you. Or I'm hyper independent. I take care of my own, but that's an avoidant. Okay. You don't even have to fucking, say this shit. It's so funny. It was like, I had an ex say that to me. I don't need you. I want you. It's like, okay. It's like, what? I never asked for you to be needy on me. What? I don't understand. It was so fucking bizarro world. It was like all these little cryptic messages and shit. It's like, can we just have a good time, type of shit? And yeah. But when you're hanging out with somebody who's just like testing you all the time, or having many breakups with you to see how you're going to react. So you treat me like shit, I leave. And, if we repair the fight or whatever, and I come back, and then the next time, if we get into a fight and I leave and I don't fucking come back right away, they're going to feel safe. Like, oh, she's not needy, because love and neediness, it almost looks the same. So just keep treating your avoidants like shit and they will love you. They will love and hate you. I look weird. It's like 70s fucking makeup. I look like a clown. Or whatever. Let's just finish this shit so I don't have to look at myself anymore. All right. All right. Dun, dun, dun. Already read that. Good evening to you both. Bye, Dr. Ruth. Celibacy always been more appealing than dating to me. It's either celibacy or relationship for me. I can't just meet various people, but I think it also holds me back. Well, it feels like you're on the meat market when you go out, because you're going out to date, and being a woman, it's like, okay, the guy's number one is to get laid. All right. So it's like, all right, so he has no chill. He doesn't want to, now this is, a blanket statement, but this is, from women all over the internet that are saying they just want to fucky suck. That's their main goal. Putting in the work to have a connection is usually not, it's like, well, if it happens, it happens. I've seen guys say that too. We'll just see what happens, and it's like, unless they get trauma bonded to you or something, because they're not going to respect you. They're not going to put all of their eggs in one basket and actually be, a good human. And they're always going to be looking for something better. It's like in the olden days when you would, court one person and you would date and you would see how you guys get along. You go through the steps and everything. And then if it doesn't work out over consistency of both of your behaviors, then you take off. But everybody thinks that if I don't respond to this other person, they're going to be gone and off the market. And what if they're my soulmate? What if they're my soulmate? Oh shit, no, I have to. And then, and then you end up just being like at a buffet, just sampling different people and never having a whole meal, and it's all fucked up because it's like, okay, I don't want to make this relationship a 5-star restaurant experience, which is you're on your best behavior, you're dressing up, you're putting in your effort, your time, your resources, your energy, trying to get to know someone. You just want to go to McDonald's and hit that Arby's roast beef flippity flip flaps, those flippities, you know, and if you don't put out there the energy that you want to do the thing, you know, and I want you to be independent and, you know, I want to date a man. I'm a fucking man. I am like a fucking dude. I'm a fucking asshole. You know, I treat you, no, you don't get, if I ever tried to fembot out on you, you know, I like you. I like you. And like I told Dr. Ruth, fucking clap your goddamn hands. God. Then I'm even fucking being nice to you, swinging dicks. Jesus. Yes, the dismissive, fearful avoidant is here and has been from the start. Yay, Shannon. Let's see. Dun, dun, dun. I'm okay being the problem as long as it gets me out of the crappy relationship. Yeah, at the end of the book of the Art of Seduction, it tells you how to get out of the relationships. One is doing less. That's in the fucking book, y'all. Do less. Be lazy in the relationship. So when you start begging and everything for your partner to do more, as long as they're just doing less and less and less, you're going to break up with them. Okay? Even though they want to break up with you. Now, the flip side, and I don't think this is in there, is if they're breadcrumbing you, they're doing less and less and just breadcrumbing you to keep you around. They still don't fucking like you, but they don't want you to move on to somebody else and better your life. Okay? Misery loves company type shit. All right. And then you got where you're just causing so much fucking trauma that you get sick of it and you want to fucking take off. And then there's the over loving and smothering you, which will make you want to take off from them. And it works like a charm. Just be loving. Just be loving. Try to be understanding. Give that motherfucker peace, and he will kick your ass to the curb. I want peace. Here's your peace. Just kidding. Bye. All right. All right. Mr. Chicken is based. I'm going to think that means cool. Apologize. Yeah. You will also see when somebody apologizes and they're just like, I'm sorry. Now, I have talked to many people who just throw the, you know, I'm sorry bullshit at you. And they know that they may have went overboard on whatever the fuck, you know, happened at the end of the relationship and stuff. Sometimes they feel very justified of how they were acting, you know, but they can have some remorse or whatever. Some will have remorse and everything or feel bad, especially borderline flavors and stuff. But they still feel very shameful to come forward and be like, you know, I want to apologize for this behavior or whatever. They just want to get back together. That's all, you know, so they're not going to fucking apologize. Sometimes you're going to have to just accept low-level apology shit to get along with somebody like this. Now it's your fucking choice to stay with this person. So if they're just giving you low-level garbage, you know, and you're not leaving, no begging is going to change. You have to change yourself. So you have to learn to, you know, like I said, read up on codependency, enabling behavior, you know, all this shit. What's funny is enabling behavior, like if I'm a drinker And if I'm with a guy who drinks and the guy's like, do you think I drink too much? I'm like, I fucking drink. I drink. Now, if he thinks that he drinks too much and he thinks that you don't care about him because you're not bitching at him, that's his fucking problem. You know, it's like, I almost feel like it's a trap. It's like, tell me I'm drinking too much so I can drink more and make you angry. But I always think everything's a fucking trap. If any guy ever says to me again, what can I do? What can I do to better the relationship? It's trap. I think it's a fucking trap because I've been fucked up by these fucking assholes asking me that and doing the opposite. It's like, fuck you, psycho. I ain't telling you shit. I ain't telling you nothing. You're perfect. And when you fall from grace, I'll get rid of you. Don't worry about that. Just keep doing what you're doing. I'll tell you if it ever comes up. I'll tell you. Fucking tell me if I needed to be better. Fuck you. I hate people. I hate people. All right. Sorry. Having a moment. I am not reading that. Oh my God. What? The house could be on fire and Sarah would be overthinking whether or not the word fire is a trick. Yes. Yes. Compared to being waterboarded, my ex had it great with me. Yes. We always think that we were perfect, don't we? We're perfect. I don't remember fucking everything. So, you know, it's like, I just remember little key components, little things, little fucked up things, maybe little good things, you know, here and there. And they get all jumbled up, you know. So that's why I tell you guys, journal, 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 journal. Because if your partner comes back to you and me being, you know, who I am, and, you know, coming back to you and we don't remember every single thing. It's like, and we're not self-aware, or we're not, you know, looking at, oh, maybe I played a role in this downfall of the relationship. And if we're not looking at that stuff and we're just like, all I know is that I want you back. You know, yeah, things were, you know, fucked up here and there, but, you know, we don't know root causes and stuff. We can't take accountability for something that we don't even remember. So we're just going to fucking come back to you. Watch my video on dissociative amnesia. That will tell you everything you need to know about our fucking brain jello. And, you know, so I would have my mother come back to, you know, different people in the family. I'm sorry for whatever I did. So she doesn't even remember. I'm sorry for whatever I did. And it seems so dismissive, right? Very minimizing of the trauma that you may have had from this person. And they don't even remember. So you can't, you know, before I understood about personality disorders and everything, it was very, you know, you're thinking that this person's a monster because they keep doing the same behaviors over and over again, forgets, says they're sorry, and does it again, and does it again, and does it again. And you're just in this loop. You're just in this ride from hell, and you're never getting off of it, you know, with this, sorry for whatever I did. Sorry, you know. And so, you know, if you're with somebody who can't take responsibility for anything, you're waiting for them to come back. and hoover you with this massive apology. Look in between that apology. Are they saying really anything? Or are they just saying that they miss you? They love you. I made a mistake. I wish that I could go back in time and take you up on fixing the relationship. Do you remember? Do you remember when we used to do all these things together? Do you remember how much fun? I felt so safe with you during these times. Anyway, so they're not saying nothing. They're saying how you make them feel about themselves. That's it. It's like, I miss my employee. I miss my employee. Will you come back to me and service me again? Without saying why I fired you and why I caused you so much pain while working in the company, or, why I blew up the Xerox machine and blamed you for it. Am I going to apologize for that? No. No. All right. When I meet a partner, I choose her based on who she is. It doesn't occur to me to think about whether I can have things served differently with somebody else. That's nice. That's nice. That was me too. I'm old school, when I'm with the person, I am, data mining the fuck out of this person. And I'm trying to find out if you're somebody that I want to be in a relationship with for even 3 to 6 months. Is this somebody that I want to learn about, hang out with, have sexy time with? If you're a bad kisser, okay, if you suck in bed, no, because I do not want, no, I'm not going to be like, this is my end of life guy. This is what I'm thinking, this is my last, hopefully my last. And if you suck in bed, no, I'm not playing that fucking game no more. You suck at kissing? No way. No way. I already had a deal, be married to somebody who was a fucking shitty kisser, and he would only kiss me good. He would withhold his fucking kiss. So I ain't doing that no more. No, you suck at kiss. You better learn. Go learn. Go learn, boys. Open up a watermelon and fucking shove your tongue up in that shit. You fucking learn how to kiss good. So hell to the no, but other than that, getting along, learning new things from you, being able to have fun with you and laugh with you and joke with you, and making sure that you're, then you can, look for all the red flaggy flags of communicating. Are they angry? Are they depressed? Are they alcoholics? Are they whatever? Are they? Do they talk over you? Now I get ADHD. Okay, I get it. But if you're always cutting me off, telling me that I'm wrong all the fucking time, not even taking a breath, so somebody else can get something in, or whatever. It's just, Jesus, can we have some fucking quiet? If you don't even want to hear me fucking talk, can you shut up for a second? It's like, anyways, so there's a lot of things that you look for, and you're figuring it out in the very beginning. At least I am. I'm not going to be in some big old fucking pink cloud. I'm on watch, man. I'm taking notes the whole goddamn time. I am not fucking, no, we can have fun and everything, but as soon as you turn into a shady shit, then it's not happening. I'm not going to get attached to you unless, I have all these really cool components going on with you. Our Lego pieces are locking in, and I love it. So I will have a fight with you, and I will want to not break up with you. Or if I do break up with you, I'm going to be so enraged and angry because you were my forever person. You know, it's not, and I'm not going to be indifferent with you if our Lego pieces lock. All right. Let's see. Someone with NPD can't be changed, but attachment style can, or different person with different people. Yes. So can avoidants become secure? Yes, they can if they are working towards that. I mean, it's just like a narcissistic person having to, you know, sit in their uncomfortable feelings, because narcissistic people usually have an avoidant attachment, which can be fearful or dismissive. So, you know, it's sitting in your feelings. Don't attack this person. Don't avoid conflict with this person. You know, don't feel threatened, or understand that you're going to feel criticized by this person. But if you care for this person, you're going to sit through it, and you're going to, you know, feel like shit. It feels like shit, you know, being shit on, but you're going to sit in these, you know, uncomfortable things. And it gets easier over time when it's consistent. So for me, it was getting a little easier over time with my person. And then when we break up and I have a lot of time alone, and you don't have that constant teaching by having another partner. And this is why everybody can be happy and secure when you're alone. You learn with another partner. You're going to be tested with another partner. This is when all of your traumas are going to come up, and you have to be aware of them. This is when you're going to sit in your pain and not run away, or just say, I need to take some space for a minute. You know, give me an hour or something, you know, or even be just like, I don't think that we're coming to a conclusion on this argument right now. Let's hold on a second for us to calm down. Anyways, if you're not with somebody and you're alone all the time, work, gym, home, work, gym, home, groceries, work, gym, home, work, gym, home, groceries. You know, if that's all you were doing, going out and partying with your friends, having quick fucky sucky moments with people, and you know, and you bail before you can even get to that trauma part, you know, you're not doing shit, man. You're not learning a fucking thing. You're not growing anywhere. You're still the same dismissive avoidant. You're just still the same. You're not trying to work on a goddamn thing. Now, you could be happy doing that. Not the shallow relationships. I've never talked to a man who is happy with shallow relationships ever. But they are happy when they have goals for themselves and working for money, you know, power and stuff. And they really love that. And, you know, just building their career, building their nest egg, you know, all that shit. And they just put relationships as a secondary, you know, it's not whatever. They don't want it to fuck up what they have going on here. So that's cool, boys. You do that. You know, and then when they're ready, and that's why men are like settling down while they're older, you know, more and more older, because they're just like, I have to put my career first. I think women are doing that too. And that's why you guys are getting together when you're older and stuff. But yeah, anyways, you're not working on shit when you're by yourself. You know, I can talk out my asshole about anything in my past, but I cannot work on growing anything in a vacuum. Okay. Thank you. You're welcome. Nor do I compare previous relationships because they are gone and buried. I just feel strange that there are people who operate like that. It's not strange when you are comparing negative behaviors with a new person. If you've been triggered to fuck, if you had red flags flying out of every orifice of your body with somebody else, you are going to compare your ex with this person. Okay. If they are not done grieving their ex, they're going to bring in all of their bullshit and baggage of their ex into the new relationship. And then you will see them, comparing you to their ex, getting depressed, grieving their ex while they're with you. Yes, they do that too. So, if you find out that somebody broke up with somebody or whatever and had a long, I was on a dating thing and he's like, oh, separated, going through divorce. And I'm like, hell to the fuck you. Hell to the fuck no. No way. No way. And he had his little bubbles going on. I'm like, no, fucking unmatch. Couldn't unmatch fucking fast enough. It's like, get away from me. Grieve your shit. And if you don't have to grieve, that means you're fucking toxic as shit. If you do not have to grieve and you just want to jump into a new relationship, no, you go with somebody else. You go with you go with somebody who's going to take all your leftover baggage. I understand. I have been with people who bitch and complain and everything about their exes. It's not stories like experiences, but they still have that anger attached, and it's just like, maybe this is just what guys are, it's like, you do not know how to process shit, right? And so all you do is just drink or smoke, whatever, fuck your pain away, but you still are holding on to shit, and I have to sit there listening to your anger over your ex over and over again. And I'm just like, it just seems like every one of you fucking swinging dicks, and chicks too, so you girls will come and trauma dump about your exes too. It's like, okay, does anybody try to grieve, try to process, until you don't have any attachment? The thing is, if the anger is gone, okay, and then you go into your depression, and then you go into acceptance, right? Now, I'm not saying you don't have good memories with this person or that bad things happen to you, but you're not holding on to a resentment, and you're comparing, the red flags, and you're looking for those red flags in me and just constantly testing. I mean, I understand the comparing when you're first dating somebody or whatever, but it's like my ex used to do that type of dismissive shit. My ex used to do that. And you already told us how much you hate your ex. So now I'm being punished for your ex. It's like, fuck off. Go away. If you have not processed your shit, go the fuck away. That's why when you go out on dates and everything, and you need to vet these people, ask them, do you still talk to your exes? If they say yes, then bye. It's like, no, you still talk to your exes. Okay, goodbye. If you were trying to do the red pill thing and try to make me be like, oh, no, bye. I ain't talking to you no more. Nothing. You're blocked. I ain't fucking going out with you anymore. You talk to your ex. Okay, goodbye. You're talking about a trauma bond that you have been in, and you see the sadness. Dude, I was talking to this dude. You can see the sadness when he was talking about his ex. Goodbye. I was no. He was so fucking sad. Now, when you were talking about, a historical document, this is a story that you went through, and you can talk about it like, yeah, it was crazy and whatever, and all this shit and everything. Oh yeah, I learned this from that relationship, and you're actually grew from the relationship, right? That's different than, having this either longing for that ex or anger, just fucking hate him, for the ex. Now, I know for a long time that I had about my husband propositioning my sister, and that was, I was really fucking never going to let that go, but I don't fucking care anymore. It's just like, so much time has passed. It's just like, I don't give a shit. I don't fucking care. I don't give a shit. It's just like, I really think that time really makes you not give a shit about certain things. That's why if you are not giving yourself the time to process and go through the steps and then give yourself some space to, move forward and everything, you're going to bring all of that trash into the new relationship. And you may not even know that you are punishing your new partner because of your ex. You may not know that. So why do I even fucking care? Why am I talking about this? Damn you. Who can I blame? Mr. Chicken. Why are you making me talk? All right. When you have a partner, all other doors are closed and there is no other focus. Right. If you want to change someone, you have to communicate about it. Well, you shouldn't change someone. You change yourself. If somebody is not being present with you, then you remove your attention. Because I'm sorry, I've already dealt with this bullshit where you've already tried to talk to your partner several times and they're telling you over and over again, I'm not going to give you what you want. Stop talking and start showing and go do something else. Not like break up and anything, but it's like, why am I begging this motherfucker to love me? Why? It's like, I'm gonna go do something else. Why am I spending my time? Ew, no. Go get a hobby, read. Go get attention elsewhere. Shit. It's so cute seeing Sarah in fangirl mode. Yes. Yes, I love Dr. Ruth. I'm wondering how I'm going to deal with hearing from my daughter. Her dad's kid was born in August. I'm going to have a meltdown. Suggestions. You're going to act completely unbothered and excited for your daughter. So if your daughter has a new little brother or sister or whatever, you're going to be completely fucking unbothered and happy that she has a sibling. That's what you're going to do. You're going to be like, oh my God, was she cute? Did you take pictures? Oh, did you get to hold her? Did you get it? And you don't give a shit. You're never going to show your daughter your father's a cheating shit and just fucking got another person pregnant and this motherfucker. You're not doing that, You're just going to be like, oh, great, and make her feel that she can always come to you to talk about anything. You never want your kids to think that this subject is off limit, meaning you don't want to data mine your kid for what your ex is doing. Don't fucking do that. But if if your daughter, she doesn't want to feel like, I can't talk to mom about my new brother or sister because it makes her cry in the bathroom. Come on. Your kid is not supposed to take care of your emotions. You are in charge of her emotions when she's a kid. So make sure that everything is cool. And then you go cry when she's asleep, okay? Thank you, amazing as usual. You are welcome. Hey, boo. How are you? Let's see. Oh, you look gorgeous as always. Thank you. Shannon, I did not see the color. Oh my God. I love you. I love you. Thank you, Shannon. My dad is a malignant NPD, thus where the toxicity was injected. Left when I was 4. Mom is great, but a bit codependent. It is amazing being raised in toxicity, especially the day when you learned that was not normal. I know. You growing up in this certain environment, and say you have friends that have either their parents are still together or everybody loves each other and stuff. And I was the kid that was like, I want to spend the night over there all the time. That was like my second family and stuff. And I would hang out at my friend's house and spend the night there. Or, there's a single mom and, my mom, single mom, and then another best friend had a single mom. You get to go over there and do whatever you want and stuff like that. And you get a lot of freedom because you have nobody watching you all the time because your single parent is working all the time, right? So you get to get into trouble and shit and do whatever the fuck. But yeah, it's like, okay, I have the good parents over here, and then I get to be rowdy and reckless and, shoplift over here, type thing. But so you get this mixed bag of stuff, and you don't know what is, is that normal? Yeah, I guess that's normal. It's like the fucking, shows on TV with the family and everything. Yeah, that's normal, right? And then they end up getting divorced, and you're like, oh, well, what the fuck? Anyway, so. Hey, Michelle. Hey, folks, a great journal is your Apple or Google Calendar. Ooh, very good. I have to write things down. I love my pens. I love my pen. Then you can search keyword. Ooh, I like that. That's way the fuck better. Ooh. I'm just starting to process half the stuff that went on with my ex, the trauma and abuse. Well, at least you're working on it. Okay? Clap your hands, man. Because some people don't even try. They don't even try. They stay victims. Even people who were part of mutual abusive relationships, they stay victims. It was all them. I didn't do nothing. I mean, shit, my last video, it's like, I wasn't abusive. I wasn't abusive. I don't fucking remember, okay? I don't remember every single detail of all of my relationships. Like I said, my fucking brain is garbage. So it's like, I'm telling you, I need a GoPro on my head or through my eyeballs. That Black Mirror episode where everything's recorded through your eyeballs? We need to do that. And then you can watch your partner's fucking day, who you've been fucking, We fuck. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry for whatever you think I did that I can't remember. Yep. I need my dildo back. You can keep the engagement ring. Hilarious. I didn't get mine back. Dildo. Then she sends you a breakup pic of the dog chewing on the dildo. Oh my God. You're supposed to be making your own and sending it to her, remember? I love how you drink Red Bull in the evening. It's not the only I'm not the only crazy lady. Well, would you consider what? When was I drinking it? Like 3:30? I better take my magnesium, dude. I'm going to sleep like shit. I am not reading that. Oh, God. Oh, you're hilarious. Your hair looks good. I look like trash. I look like trash. I'm like I said, I'm like a Mormon wife. Hello. Hello. May I abuse your children and beat the devil out of them? May I? All right. May I abuse all your husbands and tell them that they are lustful, disgusting men? If they are still the same and don't change, why does he seem to be very different with this new supply? Do you have cameras around the house? How the fuck do you know? Is it because he is in her country, her language? He's dependent? That doesn't change unless he's impulsive, because you would not move to another country unless you were impulsive, because there's no way, if I was logically thinking, that I would isolate myself in another country. Now, I would be impulsive and moving to a different city, knowing that I can move back to my city anytime, I choose. But, if you're in the fantasy shit, so if he is a narcissist and he's thinking perfect love, he's in the pink cloud right now. He's doing the new life. Sometimes they think that they fucked up their old relationships, so now they're going to try to do better in this one. But, that's just all fantasy thinking, hopefully, you would hope, if you weren't selfish, that he's not going to fuck up this new relationship and destroy this new child. But all you guys want everybody to destroy themselves. But, it's not going to work out that way. He's not just going to miraculously be everything that you always wanted in this new relationship. How is this person, didn't you say that she was a narcissist too? So they're going to traumatize each other, okay? They're going to get along longer because one's not going to be, crying. They're both going to be avoidants, dismissive avoidants. They don't give a fuck about each other's feelings. They just want each other to act right. So if they keep fighting and they're not taking turns pleasing the other person, then it's going to go to shit. If they take turns sharing the spotlight, then they can last a long time. Is that the L word? No. Let me see. If anyone talks about the exes, run as fast as you can, like the Iron Maiden song, Run to the Hills. Run to the hill, run for your life. Now it depends on, the context of the ex, talking about the ex. because I don't care if you talk about, you've been someplace with the ex, or you try, you don't need to walk on eggshells around me, about that stuff. But know if you have certain resentments and everything, if you're holding on to that pain, it's going to leak out on me, man, or you want to get back with your ex. So it's the resentment, or do you want them? Is it unfinished business? Are you pissed off that you were discarded, by your ex? Do you, are you anxiously attached? Do you really miss them? Are you making all of your relationships a rebound? Is that fucking what I'm being used for? A rebound because you can't get over these other people? Well, let me traumatize you in different ways. You can take my fucking baggage into your next relationship too. But I don't even want to waste my fucking time. So if I got duped into believing that, this person is my forever person, and then finally find out that I was being fucking conned, then, you gotta go. You gotta go. I can be gullible when I really am, with a person. I can be fucking gullible as shit. I fall into the fantasy of, you're the unicorn, and then they don't end up being the fucking unicorn. They're just wearing a fucking cow suit with a horn on it, and then you're just like, fuck. God damn. Anyway. But you can't pretend that they're a unicorn anymore. You have to see the cow suit for what it is. What are some vet questions? That would be about, do you see your parents anymore? Do they live around here? Do you, you're going to find out if it was a lie. So if they're trying to keep secrets and everything, because they had a traumatic childhood or whatever, and if they don't want to expose anything to you, you're going to hear, oh, my childhood was great. Oh yeah, I see them all the time. Or they can even say, like if they are completely no contact with their parents, oh, they died. They died a long time ago. Yeah. Yes. So, but what you're doing is you're asking questions because they're going to slip up later because it's not the truth. And so, we don't fucking keep everything in order of what we're saying and shit. I mean, me, if I lie about my age on my dating app just by 3 years, I'm trying to do the calculations of, okay, how old are my children now? And I'm going to fuck that up because I already know how old my kids are, and if you start talking to me, I'm going to slip up because my normal, it's normal to tell the truth. And it's hard to remember lies. Anyway, so, you would ask about their parents. And usually when you say, oh, do you see them? Oh, you don't have to ask. They want to tell. They want to tell. And if they don't tell you, it's like, oh, what are you hiding? What are you hiding? So you know they're hiding something. So you just let it go. You let it go. And anyways, you just start asking, oh, what type of jobs, what type of fun jobs have you had? And I can be like, yeah, I worked at a movie theater when I was 16 and all this fun shit, right? And just whatever, saying different things so I can tell you about my, stuff. And then you start telling me about your history and where you've been and what you've done and how you were in school and what you took and your hobbies and everything, and I'm very interested in finding out things about you. This is what you're supposed to do anyways when you're learning about people. But I'm trying to figure out, I'm trying to find some darkness in there. It's like, you know, not just darkness, but I want to see if you and I are going to jive together. Because if you're no contact with your mom and I'm no contact with my mom, then it's like, high five, brother. I'm not going to fucking double standard that shit, right? It's just like, okay, we both got shit. And I like when a guy has, you know, some shit, right? So, because it's going to make me feel weird if you have like this perfect fucking family. It's like, yeah, I don't think you want me here. I'm going to skedaddle, you know, type thing. You deserve a healthy fucking person. You know, I got to get out of here. So you're finding out history, parents, school, friends, you know, friendships. It's basically you're giving them a psych evaluation. When you get your psych evaluation, you're learning about all of your relationships from your parents, friends, other family members, siblings. You're learning about their work and how long they were at work at different jobs. So basically, I'm giving them a psych eval by just asking them, you know, open-ended questions and stuff. And if you see that they're shutting off, you know, questions here, then you go on to something else and whatever. And it doesn't have to be all in one sitting. You're learning over, you know, time. You want it to be organic. Okay. It's not just a rapid fire thing or whatever. You know, and you throw in jokes and fun, you throw in a little bit about you, and, you know, you flirt and you talk sexy, timey stuff and whatever, you know, and so you have this whole mixed bag going on. And sometimes you don't even have to work that hard, because if you're around somebody like with borderline flavor or shit, they're gonna dump everything on you anyways. All you have to do is just sit there and listen. And usually somebody who loves to dump, they don't like to understand you. So you'll notice that too. If you are with somebody who is just dumping all kinds of information about their past and whatever, and they ask you nothing, that's a red flag too. Now, it's not that I want to expose any feelings. I'll expose historical documents, but I'm not, you know, there's no feelings involved. You know, there's no, I wish everybody was so terrible. Nobody loves me. Right? No, that's not happening. But, so when you find out all that stuff, and you're hanging out and getting along and figuring out whatever. Oh my God. Do you know that fucking adults have food issues? Ugh. It's like, I even had this guy ask me, it's like, do you have any food allergies or food? And I'm like, what? I feel like, you know, what, am I going to elementary school and you want to know if I have a peanut allergy? What the fuck? You know? And I'm like, no, I eat everything. And I guess people are like, oh, I only eat certain da-da-da. And then I dated this one guy who had a laundry list of shit that he could not eat. I'm just like, I'm typing it in my fucking notes section just to be sure that I don't kill this man or whatever. It's like, oh my God. And when shit like that goes down, you miss your fucking ex, okay? You miss your fucking ex who just didn't like catch up, you know? You're like, Jesus. So anyway, fuck. Did I ramble on enough? And then when you're in bed, find out what they like, okay? Ask questions. You want to please, both of you want to please. I'm tired. What time is it? My daughter, you're taking up everything. Is there anybody new? Save yourself, ladies. Save yourself, ladies. Heal. Love you like never before. Amen. Amen. He told me he could see himself growing old with her. I could see myself growing plastic surgery with my ex too. It didn't happen. Growing old. Shit, I'm done my hair till I'm fucking getting burnt alive. Not alive, dead. But you know what I mean. So this guy you just met calls you. You tell him you're tied up right now and can't meet up with him this week, saying you're fully addicted to playing, what is that? In the dungeon. And because he didn't hear the words and dragon. What? So you'd rather play a game than hang out? Well, whatever. One thing is, if you're not available, always make a plan to see them at a different date. Okay? So you don't say, if they're like, oh, you want to hang out this weekend? Oh, I can't this weekend. Period. You know, you're not just like, say, I can't this day, but I can on this day. You know? You don't want to be like, no. How about that? No. They're going to be like, no, fuck you. You know, if you like somebody, you're going to be like, you're going to make an availability. It doesn't have to be like, you're waiting by the phone and it's like, hey, do you want to go out tomorrow or next week? Tomorrow, one thing was like, I don't know this dating manipulation thing. It's like, I see all this weird shit. It's don't be too available. It's like, but I'm not doing anything. Do you want to fucking go out for 2 hours and hang out with me one day, which is worth 24 hours? Do you want to go out for 2 hours during this day? Are you available tomorrow? And if I say yes, that means I'm too eager. Okay. No, I don't want to go out. You want to fucking talk for a while? I was talking to this avoidant. We fucking, talking for a week. And then it's like, are we ever gonna go out? Are we ever gonna go out? Or are we just gonna fucking be pen pals? No. I wanna, no. Okay. I mean, I like talking for a week and everything, but if you're already talking about buying me sexy clothes, it's like, can we meet? Because if you kiss like shit, I don't want you. Oh, fuck. Always check to see if the unicorn horn is real. It's usually not. There's no such thing, but they can have glitter, they can have some glitter on them. That's nice. You don't have to have the full-on horn, but you can have some glitter. Actually, I'd rather date, instead of a unicorn, I'll date Darkness from Legend. That's who I want to date. I want to date Darkness from Legend. You kill the fucking unicorns. We live isolated in our dark place with the fucking fireplace. And you are only obsessed over destroying the world and me. That's it. Destroy the world and you're obsessed with me. You care about making me happy. And I fucking champion your world domination. Okay? That's it. That's all I want. You fucking love me to death. I idealize you. We sit in front of the fire. Okay? You gotta be painted red, have the big old fucking horns. All right? That's it. Is that so much to ask? So instead of one horn, I want two. All right? Is that so hard? And that you don't try to fuck me over? Is that okay? Is that all right? That's what I want. All right? Now you got this guy you just met, all dark, deviant, sexually fired the fuck up out of there. Oh boy, yeah, you know what I'm saying. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know. I date chameleons because sometimes you get to look at pretty colors. The chicks who change their hair color all the time, or the chick that changes, or dude, their personality all the time. There's this one channel called the BPD Bunch. And it's cool because I think it's like they have different people with borderline personality disorder, men and women, and they talk on specific subjects, on the things that they do. It's great because you're not just talking to one person. It's like several that they have, either the same behaviors and perspectives, or they talk about why they do the things that they do and stuff like that. I mean, I already know about me. I'm a fucking narcissist. So, learning about, different personality disorders is interesting to me. So if you're dealing with a man or a woman that might have borderline flavor, check them out. And watching it, I'm just like, they were talking about that chameleon shit. They were talking about, I do not know who I am. So I try to be different people. I'll say, oh, okay, I'm gonna be into country music now. Oh, okay, I'm gonna be into rap music now. Oh, okay, I'm gonna be into wearing this kinds of clothes. Oh, I'm gonna be into this type of group. Or, I'm gonna this kind of hair. Or this kind of, and it's always like, I don't know who I am. So I'm going to keep, switching it up, hoping to find whatever to fill this emptiness. Yeah, I don't fucking do that. So you ain't going to see, a horse of a different color, like on fucking Wizard of Oz going on here. But at least I ain't gonna fucking cheat on you as soon as I walk out the door. HD Tutor channel talks about different types of narcissists. For example, those who are aware that are narcissistic and those are unaware. Enjoy your banter from Toronto, Canada. Yeah, we know that HD Tutor is the ultra. And then there's the medium. I forget what he fucking said. And then the low grade or whatever. It's so funny. It's like, and he kind of makes sense, because there's the people that fucking don't know what the fuck they're doing. They're just living on autopilot, right? And then there's the ones that are, aware and just, don't care. And then the ones that are just, psychopathic and just, destruction and I'm just doing to get what I want. That's all. Simple miscommunication can lead to a woman or man who, by careless communication, is now manufacturing dark, deviant, sexual masochistics like a factory, like industrial revolution, and wonder why they want. Always meet all the dark sexual sickos. I don't think they fucking wonder why. They fucking know why. If you're, they may not know that they're sad or whatever. They're just like, I'm fun party girl. I'm just gonna go and yeah. you know, or they're angry, or they want to get revenge, or they're feeling, you know, bored. They can be bored as fuck and just be like, I'm just going to go out and see if I can get some drinks and, you know, have a good time. I don't give a shit, you know, and then you feel shame and shit later after the fact. I'm a fucking cum dumpster, you know? Anyway. Clarity pill. Thank you. Thank you. Wonderful. Thank you. Are you trying to advertise? I don't know what clarity pill is. I'm laughing so hard right now. Ex bed kisser. Yeah. No. I think you just cured me. Good. Good. Fuck that, dude. And if you have somebody who just stinks in the sack. Now, I know that, you know, depending on who your person is, you can bring excitement into the relationship, you know, and do stuff or whatever. But, you know, sometimes it's like, do I really want to deal with this for years? Do I want to deal with that for years? You know, type thing. And if it's like, no, no, and then my wheels are spinning like, I gotta get out of this. I gotta get out of this. I'm not even gonna fucking stay until I find somebody else. It's like, I got to get out of this. So, yeah. Yeah. I have a question about your mask. All of them look angry, so I can't tell them apart. Really? Give me a break. Yes, you can. Stop being weird. I'm tired. I'm tired. 2 Red Bulls and I'm tired. I would like to get your advice on my situation. I believe I had dated a girl with personality disorder, CPTSD, BPD, MPD. I had experienced the typical approach, avoidance, behavior, high anxiety. Yeah. What else? Manifested in bruxism, what's that? Eye infection, eating disorders, that's BPD-ish. Unhealthy coping food, especially sugar and sweets, many inconsistencies with what I say versus what I do, impaired reality test. Yes, they sound fucked up. Projection, grandiose sense of self, a lack of identity, and centeredness. Much like Sam Vagnan's called... what? This thespian skills, role playing, identifying to a certain character she resonates with. Wow, are we writing a fucking essay and trying to manifest and bring that character to life? Long story short, really? The red flags were undeniable, and I broke up very suddenly without notice after 2 years and completely went no contact. Okay, well, that's fucked. Without no notice after 2 years, you're a bad person. I am Asian, 5'8", long hair. In less than 2 weeks, she picked up on someone who was the exact opposite of me. 6'5", Colombian, bald, with completely different personality. She then, via Instagram, triangulated the shit out of you, right? Managed to completely recreate our 2-year relationship in a matter of 2 months, visiting the very places, restaurant sites, traveling destinations, and if trying to reliving, continuing our relationship with someone else. This is a form of narcissistic transference, introduction, shared fantasy, or just spite. Knowing I see her Instagram from time to time. Sounds like fucking spite, dude. You rejected her. Cold discard after 2 years. This is your punishment, motherfucker. Okay? You are being punished. All right? Ha, ha. And she deserves payback for a cold fucking discard. You should have it. She sounds borderline-y. I mean, she's fucking all over the place, barfing all the time. And you abandoned her. She's got massive abandonment trauma. And even though that, believe me, any punishment you gave her because of her crazy, I get it. You know, I fucking get it. You've had enough. I understand. And if you had to give her a cold discard because you tried to break up with her before and she wouldn't let you go, I get it. But that's a punishment. I'm sorry. Finding somebody opposite than you, that's not a punishment. But posting, going to the same places, posting all that shit, and yes, that's for you. That's for, she's saying you are replaceable. You are replaceable. I don't need to post my new person going, trying to in public, look to all of my stalkers of old, no, I'm protecting my relationship. Now, if he had a problem, he's like, why am I public? I'm like, you want to be fucking public? Stalked by exes, maybe even fucked with. If the crazy one wants to come back and fuck with my life, is that what you want? Great, here. There you go. Don't ever fucking post anything about me on yours because you're going to be stalked. And I don't want them to know about my channel. So, okay. All right. My long-distance relationship said she was always stressed that I might not like her when we met. Said she felt great relief after she discarded me. Now says she's happy even though she's a severely depressed bipolar. Well, that has nothing to do with you. If she's fucking worried that she's not going to, she's so fucking insecure that you're not going to, be so happy. You're talking all the goddamn time. You're bonding, in different ways. You're going to be, totally attracted to her if she has a third fucking foot growing out of the back of her head. You'll just massage it. You'll paint its toenails, type thing. So I hope if you have not seen pictures of this long distance girl, if you have not FaceTimed with her and she's scared, she's a guy. She's a fucking guy. Okay? There you go. Okay. All these essays and shit, I'm fucking tired. I'm leaving. I can't read anymore. I cannot. So I hope you guys had fun with Dr. Ruth and the end. Okay. Please watch the video on dissociative amnesia so you understand the wacky shit that goes on in our head. So you stop thinking that everything is a fucking done with malicious intent. Please, it is not an excuse to stay in any relationship where you feel like you're going fucking crazy. Because if we don't know that our brains are being fucking weird and, and this is reality, that our brains are sabotaging us too, you need to get out because we're always going to feel justified in blaming you for our crazy thoughts. Okay. All right. Watch that fucking video. Watch that video. Okay. Damn it. Just do what I say. Be